best when it is being cycled and lasts for a much longer period in terms of length of the asset, so 25 years, but also for longer duration. So if you need to extend the time scale for the battery, you just add more liquid. So we will run sort of for typically a 4 to 10 hour range, whereas lithium will sit in front of that in the sort of 1 to 2 hour range. But we're also capable of offering a full range of services to the grid. So there'd be that high frequency response, load shifting, or a number of other services which are the battery's capable of doing.
And how much vanadium is in the composition of the battery?
So the vanadium sits in a vanadium electrolyte solution. Again, I won't go into sort of detail here as to how much sits in there, but that's basically a sulfuric acid and vanadium mix. Vanadium itself is the 20th most common element on the Earth's crust. Typically, it's a byproduct from a mining process or a catalyst sort of catalyst recycling process. So typically, it's a byproduct rather than being primary mined.
You've kind of preempted my next question, which is going to be, I mean, I think vanadium is very commonly used in construction and the steel sector in particular. You're not going to be facing competition for resources.
We don't believe so. We work very closely with vanadium producers. There's an organisation called Vanatec, which is the trade association for vanadium. We regularly attend their conferences, and there are a lot of sort of providers in that area that are looking to ramp up production. So we believe there is a plentiful supply available, and actually they're looking at us to prove the demonstration of the technology, and therefore to ramp up the production. That's what's exciting about this award from the UK government, is it enables us to prove at scale what is a very significant asset, and therefore they will be able to ramp up their production to be able to fulfil our needs.
And the battery is going to be manufactured at your Bathgate facility in West Lothian. What is going to be the cost of building it, and how long will it take?
I'm not going to go into necessarily costs here. It's an £11 million grant from the UK government that's match funded by our partners. So that's a sort of project north of £20 million. It will be we're looking to have that installed in 2024 and commissioned in 2024. Such that it's readily it's finished by the timescale, the end sort of mid 2025, when the project technically has to be completed by. But we're confident it will be installed by then. And for us, that will then lead us to the next stage in our evolution. It's a real game changer for us. It's a battery that's 6 times larger than the one we have installed at the moment, which is the Energy Super Hub Oxford. And for us, that sort of is a real step forward in proving to our customers, but also to the grid, that this can really be a solution on the route to net zero and dealing with energy security issues in the UK.
Now, as you say, the grant was dependent on you getting matched funding from a business partner. You've said that you've got that match funding. You're not naming your partner, though, as I understand it.
We're not at the moment. We said we've signed heads of terms with them. We're completing contracting with them, but also that partner is in the process of securing the site. And at the moment, they've asked us not to disclose who they are. So that's where we are. But highly confident that they are there and ready to go in the timescales needed.
Very good. Well, it's a fascinating topic. Hope to hear more from you in the future on this, Jonathan. Thanks for joining me today.
Very kind. Thank you.
Well, still to come here on Ian King Live. Have a look at how global markets are doing this Thursday morning. Stay tuned.
Cost of living crisis has exacerbated the number of fake ads for holiday cottages and places to stay on social media. And now, with the passport delays, there's an awful lot of ads advertising appointments for fast track services, and promising you a passport within a really unrealistic time frame. So, poor unsuspecting holiday makers are paying and losing their money. I mean, broadly, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. That's the bottom line. In terms of holiday cottages and the like, do your research. Don't. These scammers, they exploit people who are panicking, who are in a rush, who are desperate for a holiday. do your research. Don't jump in, don't pay cash, pay with something, phone the number, research the website, make sure it's a credible source, and don't pay cash. With the passport scams, they're actually advertising appointments. So for the fast track and the premium service, you need to book an appointment before you can actually use the service. And so it's confusing, and holiday makers are sitting online for hours on end waiting for these appointments. So you can forgive them for rushing at what seems like a really good opportunity. Just don't. You've got consumer rights, you've got protection with your credit card. So the payment is traceable, the credit card company can see where the money's gone, and if you've paid in good faith and you've followed the terms and conditions of your credit card, then yes, you've got a much better chance of getting your money back than if you've just paid cash where it's untraceable, nobody knows what you've given, when you've given it, and who to. So definitely pay with a credit card if you can.
Welcome back. Now, while Ramadan is commonly associated with the fast that takes place daily from sunrise to sunset, the vast majority of Muslim households typically spend more on food during the month. That's because of the importance of iftar, the fast-breaking evening meal, an occasion to be enjoyed with family and friends. However, during the cost of living crisis, there are concerns many families will struggle to provide iftar meals this Ramadan. So the Manchester-based charity Human Appeal is joining forces with Hellmann's to provide free iftar for all food parcels for those in need. Well, joining me now is Abid Shah, the UK Programmes Manager at Human Appeal. Abid, good to see you this morning. For those people who aren't up on Muslim customs, just explain to me the importance of the iftar.
Yeah, thanks for having me. The iftar meal, as you've rightly mentioned, is the meal that typically Muslims have in the evening to break their fast. As you've mentioned, this Ramadan, we've found through research an increased number of people who are concerned about how they essentially sustain themselves. I mean, it's an issue that you're seeing across the country, but in particular in relation to iftar, there are lots of people who are concerned about the cost of living crisis, concerned about the cost of food items, and we are trying to do a little bit about that.
How much would a British Muslim household typically spend extra on iftar meals?
I mean, typical with festivals, as you know, with the Christmas period or Ramadan, there's a general desire to increase or change the food items that you typically eat. So from our research, we found around 50% of people talking about spending around £91 per week. Just a general increase, 65% of people mentioning that, of course, just this Ramadan in comparison to previous Ramadans and previous years, a rise in costs is something that's concerning them.
So tell me what's in the food parcels. I gather you work with a well-known chef to develop ingredients and recipes.
That's right. So we're working with Hellmann's, as mentioned. So we've partnered with Hellmann's for this campaign, and we're working with Ophelia's Kitchen, a well-known chef, Ophelia Begum. And each food parcel contains a variety of items that a household would typically find. So we have food items like pasta and rice and pot noodles, chickpeas, baked beans, amongst other items, long life milk, lentils. And Ophelia's Kitchen have very kindly provided us with a couple of recipes. So in addition to providing the food parcel itself, the intention here is to try and encourage households to not waste food and to be more conscious about wastage of food, which is also something that we've found households to be concerned about in relation to the cost of living crisis.
Now, households that want to avail themselves of this service have to pick up the parcels at sites. I think you're running at Birmingham, Luton and in Bolton. What sort of take-up have you had so far?
So we've had a kind of a mixed response, I suppose. In Bolton recently, our partners on the ground, Homeless Aid UK, spoke about being inundated with calls. Unfortunately, a lot of families, a lot of people reaching out to them, inquiring about the food parcels. In London and in Birmingham, again, we found local families getting in touch with our respective partners there and reaching out to them. So there's definitely a concern there with regards to families reaching out and the fact that they've seen the news articles. They've seen the fact that these food parcels are available, and they want to make use of it.
And how much has this initiative cost?
This initiative, well, the initiative hasn't ended yet. It's ongoing, so it's hard to tell how much it'll end up costing. I mean, we are looking at potentially providing over 11,000 food items, individual food items, through the parcels. So it's not quite done yet. It'll be hard to give a kind of a exact figure at the moment.
All right, Abid, good to see you this morning, and congratulations on a very worthwhile initiative. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Well, the US dollar eased last night following the softer than expected March inflation figures, which have raised expectations that next month's predicted interest rate rise from the US Federal Reserve could be the last in this cycle. As you can see, the pound is ahead by nearly 0.25% right now against the greenback. It's more or less unchanged against the euro. The single currency, meanwhile, similarly up 0.25% against the dollar. On the equity markets, last night's sell-off on Wall Street was followed by mixed trade overnight in the Asia-Pacific region. There were gains for Tokyo and for Hong Kong, but declines in Sydney, Shanghai and in Mumbai. Well, in Europe, markets are also pretty mixed this morning. As you can see, only the CAC 40 right now among leading continental European stock indices in positive territory. And I suspect that might be because one of the main talking points this morning is LVMH, which is not only the world's biggest luxury goods group, it's also the largest company in France and on the CAC 40, and its shares are ahead by nearly 5% this morning after stronger than expected results, which were published after the market closed last night. Well, here in London, the FTSE 100 is in positive territory. Very, very just. It's 1.5 points to the good, more or less unchanged there right now. Property and energy stocks weighing on the index to an extent there. There are some gainers to mention, though. The house builders Taylor Wimpey and Barratt are among leading blue chip gainers this morning. That's on the back of some supportive comment from one of the brokers, HSBC, this morning. Taylor Wimpey up 2.25%, Barratt up 2%. All of the house builders are ahead right now. And Tesco, I mentioned them a little earlier on the programme. Its shares are ahead by nearly 2% right now as well, 1.75% in fact right now. As ever at this time of the year on a Thursday, a lot of stocks have gone ex-dividend today. In other words, they're trading for the first time without the rights to the latest payout. The batch this morning includes Lloyds Banking Group and Smurfit Kappa, the paper and packaging giant. If you're shareholders in both of those companies, don't worry, that is just an automatic adjustment to reflect the fact that those have gone ex-div today. Outside the FTSE, Oxford Instruments shares are ahead by some 5.5%. That's after the company raised its profits outlook, while the bathroom accessories maker Norcross, its shares are ahead by some 7% on a trading update. As for the oil price, we can see it on the screen there right now. It took another upward bound last night to hit its highest level since the end of January. It's held on to those gains this morning. A barrel of Brent crude will currently cost you $87.38 a barrel. That is up just under 0.1% right now, higher on the session. Joining me now is the global head of brand at Scope Markets, James Hughes. James, good to see you this morning. Very interesting move in the dollar right now. I mean, people do seem to be pricing in the end of the rate tightening cycle.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I think the key focus that we have all had this week has been the Fed and those inflation numbers yesterday, and that's kind of got everyone's talking this morning around if that rate hike is now going to be, that's potentially on the table, is going to be taken off the table. I think what we saw yesterday was interesting because we saw really two sides to this. Number one, we saw the slightly softer inflation numbers, and yes, that has one side. But the Fed minutes later in the evening yesterday also painted that story of recession. So the minutes hinting that we could see a recession coming later in the year on the back of the banking crisis. And even though that banking crisis has what seems to be as eased on the top level at the moment, there does still seem to be a lot of withdrawals happening within some of these banks. So there is still that story there that's a little bit more nervy than what we'd expect. So that's why we're seeing this move in the US dollar as well, and that continuous talk around the fact that we could now see this potential rate hike coming off the table, and that would potentially then follow the likes of Canada, who have now stopped raising rates as well. It just, when we get to that stage, it's how long they then plateau before we start to see them coming down.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, the FX market clearly is looking at the way that sterling's trading against the dollar right now. I mean, the money markets are kind of assuming it'll be one and done from the Bank of England, but I get the sense in the FX market they think there might be a bit more to come.
Yeah, I think the UK is an interesting one as well, because I think if you look at how the economy is performing there, it's not like inflation in the likes of the US or in other areas where we've seen that substantially down from the highs that we'd seen previously. Inflation is still incredibly high in the UK, but underlying some of the economic data still remains pretty resilient, to be perfectly honest. So I think that the feeling there is, how do you control that? How do you control inflation? Well, the rate hikes at the moment aren't necessarily doing that. You know, the rate hikes continue to leave us in this situation where it's pushing the cost of living up higher and is making everything tougher for everyone. The question then comes is, what do you do with the economy? The GDP numbers this morning, the monthly GDP numbers were pretty much flat, came in at zero. They're only the monthly ones. But there is the school of thought is maybe the way to control inflation is for the economy to get worse, to head into recession, as the Bank of England expects, and that will eventually bring inflation down, and then we'll stop that rate cycle. But for now, we expect one more in May, and the safe money is in the fact that then continues to then plateau towards the end of the year. But it just depends on how stubborn that inflation number remains.
Just go back something you said earlier, James. You mentioned the Bank of Canada obviously kept rates on hold yesterday. Are you seeing much activity in the Canadian dollar just now?
There's not too much, but I think because because they have become that almost that shining light of we're stopping the rate hikes, and now we're looking to be pretty stable in terms of those rates. There does tend to be a focus within there. Of course, there's the oil angle as well from a commodity-based currency, and we see that from flows from our client perspective. We see that movement into those commodity-based currencies because of the movements that we see in the oil price. So we do tend to get quite a lot of interest in those pairs, and when you get that added focus of the Bank of Canada moving ahead and being that moving to that next step, we do tend to get quite a lot of interest in those pairs. And so for the Canadian dollar, it's one that our clients especially take a look at.
All right, James, got to leave it there. Good to see you this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Ian.
Just a bit of breaking news to bring that we received in the last few minutes. This concerns Silvio Berlusconi, the former Italian Prime Minister. As we've been reporting, he is in hospital right now. And we just had an update from his hospital doctors in Milan. They say that Silvio Berlusconi's health continue to improve, but he remains in intensive care. He's being treated for a type of chronic leukemia. We'll bring you more on that, of course, when we get it. Silvio Berlusconi, 86 years old, I think, right now. Still to come here on Ian King Live. Why the UK government has invested in a firm which is fighting climate change by growing and harvesting seaweed. Don't go away.
I'm Dr. Donald Palmer, and I'm an immunologist. COVID-19 is still with us and making people ill every day, but it's not too late for all adults to book their first or second NHS COVID-19 vaccination. To get these vaccinations while they are still available and protect yourself and those around you, visit nhs.uk/COVID vaccination or call 119.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Tune in to On Point here on Star Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that the start of the darkness. The hole of darkness.
So what did that
myself and the world will adjust. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on the CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Star Radio.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Prampram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Prampram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Donald Palmer and I'm an immunologist. COVID-19 is still with us and making people ill every day, but it's not too late for all adults to book their first or second NHS COVID-19 vaccination. To get these vaccinations while they are still available and protect yourself and those around you, visit nhs.uk/COVID vaccination or call 119.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK. Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All around the world.
Smile though your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Hey, this is Archie and you are listening to Starr Radio UK and The Morning Show.
This is Starr Radio. This is UK. Starr Radio UK. This is Starr Radio UK.
Welcome.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Enlighten your day with Starr Radio.
Love for you runs deep. All of you makes my heart beat. You make a doubt they fade. Jesus, and that's what makes you great. You hold the world in your... Okay, let me say massive good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you, wherever you might be on planet Earth, and those of you who are on other planets as well. We want to salute each and every one of you and welcome you to the Thursday edition of The Morning Show. And forevermore. Today is the 13th day of April, the year 2023, with the time now 10:42 from the hearts of London. You will never change. You remain the same to the end. So from now until 1 o'clock, where I bring you all that you need to know from archaeology to zoology, from Accra to Zanzibar, I wanted to say glue to your sets and enjoy the show or the ride. But let's say good morning to my team, Mr. Olayomi. He's going to be working behind the scenes this morning. Mr. Frank Davis going to be in the house, and Mr. Francis Guy, my able producer, who is already here, saying to pulling in and pushing everything that needs to be pulled and pushed. I'm playing in the background. Great Are You Lord by Edith Morrison. Let's say good morning to Bishop Adeshina. I hope you are doing very well, sir. Pastor Momo, good morning. Pastor Emmanuel Chidi, I salute you, man of God. Reverend Michael Esiama, yes, good morning to you and welcome back. Also, let me say good morning to the one and only Kojo D and Felix all the way in Aberdeen as well. Hope you guys are doing well. Balakunle, good morning to you. Shamsuddin Oladipupo, good morning to you. Amaya, good morning. Anthony Adedeji, good morning. Aziz, good morning to you all. One who took my pain. Sir Maxwell, Amoyiwa, And as many of you who tune in each day to listen to us, watch us, to do all sorts with us, interact with us, we're so grateful to you for doing so. And once again, as a welcome to the show.
Greatly to be praised. Great are you, Lord.
Okay, 10:44 the time, the morning show, the program. If you don't know, you know. I am.
This is the morning show with Archie.
Okay, I'm going to bring you the quote of the day. The weather forecast will follow suit, then the travel update as well. We'll move on from there to have a look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe, known as Global Trotting. Then after that, we'll be bringing you updates from Nigeria exactly at 11 o'clock. Like I said earlier on, Ms. Olayomi is working behind the scenes, but provided us with some stories that we'll be touching on.
That's what makes you.
And then move on from there to have a look at some of the other stories making the rounds across the globe. At 12 o'clock, the lines are open for you to add your voice to the discussions. We'll continue from there, and exactly at 1 o'clock, we'll bring the curtains down for the end of the program. Well, but your voice needs to be heard. Your comments need to be read as well. So wherever you are, make sure that even as we are broadcasting, you are able to interact with us. That's why we've made our programs interactive. So once again, as a welcome. Now the quote for today says, it is not enough to be competent, you have to be a man or woman of character. It's not enough to be competent, you have to be a man or woman of character. Are you? Am I? Well. Let's move on straight to the weather front. Well, it looks a bit sunny this morning, but is that what we're going to be seeing here in London and the southeast of England, or where you are? Can you share with us what is happening in your area? Well, we're a worldwide radio station. We have everyone everywhere listening in as well. But this morning we'll start with plenty of sunshine, a few patches of cloud lingering, and largely dry condition. More patchy cloud will develop in the afternoon with a few light showers possible. Now this evening will be dry with clear skies. Similar conditions through the first part of the night towards dawn. Cloud will start building in from the southwest. Total temperature is going to be 13 degrees. The lowest is going to be 3 degrees. UV level is going to be moderate, pollen moderate, but pollution is going to be low. Sunset 1953 and sunrise for tomorrow morning 0610 hours. That brings us to the end of the weather forecast. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. We're going to take a quick break now, and once we come back, I'll bring you the travel update. So wherever you are, don't touch the dial. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Hi, I'm Dr. Donald Palmer, and I'm an immunologist. COVID-19 is still with us and making people ill every day, but it's not too late for all adults to book their first or second NHS COVID-19 vaccination. To get these vaccinations while they are still available and protect yourself and those around you, visit nhs.uk/COVID vaccination or call 119.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Okay, so keep your eyes on the roads, and we'll keep you navigated. I promise I'm on the Starr Radio Travel Up that comes to every weekday from 10:40. It's now 10:47, and what's your travels like? But before then, let me say good morning to Adeniyi Jibril. Say good morning, everyone. Good morning to you, Adeniyi. I hope you are doing very, very well there. Okay, so now let's move on straight to what's happening on your travels. You can share with us what is happening on your travels wherever you are, and we shared well listenership. Okay, so on the underground this morning, Elizabeth Liner has once again got severe delays between Guido Park and Shenfield while they fix a track defect. Good service on the rest of the line. Then another line also has got severe delays between Camden Town and High Barnet while they respond to a customer incident. London Underground tickets accepted on TfL bus services between Archway and Kentish Town. Good service on the rest of the line though. Other side, all the other underground lines, good service there. London Overground, good service. DLR, good service. London Tramlink until Saturday the 15th of April. No service between East Croydon and Reeves Corner. But keep your eyes on the roads. Keep your eyes on the roads as we keep you navigated. I promise our board. Now, on the major roads in London, A12, A24, A4, Central London red routes have all got closures. But A1, A13, and A40 has got several delays. If you're going to avoid it, do your best to do so. But if not, you are cutting there, continue to listen to us, because as and when there are any changes, we'll bring it to the fore. That aside, all the others, no exceptional delays there. Moving on straight to the river bus this morning. On the river bus, I can tell you shortly, good service throughout. The London cable car has also got good service. So that brings us to the end of the final segment of the travel update. The final segment, let me put it that way. Well, cross country, East Midlands Railway, East First Transmission Express, Great Western Railway, Greater Anglia, Northern Rail have all got minor delays. That aside, South Western Railway, Transport for Wales, and Great Western Railway have all got severe delays. You can avoid it, do your best to avoid it. But if you are struggling to continue to listen to us, because as and when there are any changes, we promise you one thing for sure, which we promise to do and we deliver. We'll bring it to the fore. On that note, let me say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you, wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your commute for today. But you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the roads.
Hi, I'm Dr. Donald Palmer, and I'm an immunologist. COVID-19 is still with us and making people ill every day. But it's not too late for all adults to book their first or second NHS COVID-19 vaccination. To get these vaccinations while they are still available and protect yourself and those around you, visit nhs.uk/COVID vaccination or call 119.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Welcome back to the program, Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Yo, what's up, people? This is a boy Raskin Bobo One. Tune in every day, every night at the Starr Radio UK with the big man them Archie. When I say Otta, you say fire.
Welcome back to the program once again. Now let's move on to the Global Trotting Time, telling you all the headlines making the rounds across the globe, which we'll be looking at in details in the next few moments. When it comes to Nigeria, Tinubu's victory, my life in danger, Lagos ex-deputy governor Sinatu Ojikutu is saying. And the workers trapped a 7-story building collapsed in Banana Island, Lagos once again. Well, remember sometime last year or thereabout, there was a building that collapsed as well, killing even the owner of that particular property whilst under construction. Now, Lagos government trashes gangs of Lagos movie over cultural misrepresentation. I wish I have a view of that movie and we find out what it's saying. You know, at times leadership doesn't want you to tell the truth. I mean, when the moment you speak truth to power, then they think that no, you want to spoil our party for us. But what do you think about all that? More going to be coming your way. Now, CSOs warn against unguarded utterances. Okay, yes, more going to come your way from there as well. And then 2023 polls, foreign media, think tanks now informed on Obi's chances. Liar Mohammed is saying, I'll call him Liar Mohammed, you know, that's all we call him. Okay, a lot more going to be coming your way from there as well. And then importers to clear cargoes from Lekki Port in 2 days. That will be history if that is able to take place, because even the traffic alone to that particular place is quite a difficult one. But we'll see what happens. Now, court suspends newly constituted Katsina PDP caretaker committee. Why? And Buhari told Saudi Museum of the Prophet tasked Muslims on spreading true knowledge of Islam. Okay, that's what is going on in Nigeria. Some more we're going to be looking at. Inspector General Arras meet ex-IGs pledge collaboration. What are they going to be collaborating about? We'll be telling you more about that. Now, moving on straight to some other stories making the rounds in other parts of Africa as well. Netflix is to expand its operation in Africa, building on its successes. Now, have Africans got the means to actually be, using Netflix or patronizing the services, they're sitting there watching movies? Do you think they will have the means to be doing so? Well, that is your data that's going to be flying like no man's business. But, we are those who can afford. So why not? All right, Egypt and UAE leaders to discuss bilateral ties, Arab solidarity in Cairo. Now, Egypt's President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi welcomed his Emirati counterpart Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan in Cairo on Wednesday. Okay, so those are some stories making the rounds on the African continent as well. ICC arrest warrant for Putin, a big dilemma for South Africa. Why? They can decide not to do so. Is it that because South Africa is a signatory to that ICC, and that's what they'll be forced to do something about it? What if Putin decide not to come, or when he brings his his security? What can they do? Maybe they will stop his plane from flying. Well, we'll tell you more about that. It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. In other parts of Africa still, Mahama challenges journalists to fact-check dog meals for SHS students. Now, we're talking about that for some time now, about the meals that is being served to students, and we're saying that with the amount of money that those providers are being paid per child or per student, virtually not up to one Ghana city. So what do you think they're going to be giving them? Is it that maybe government have got a farm, then therefore all the food stuff is coming from that point or from that place? What about energy costs? What about so we'll check about that. We'll try to see how that looks like. I think we might have to get one student taking a picture of it and send it to us one of these days, and then we can talk about it properly. Now, MPP election, Alan wins Baumia in latest poll. Well, if we believe in the polls, then we say that everything is true. As Lai Mohammed did say the other time that, the polls were not right, because when the polls were saying that, Peter Obi was going to win, he was saying that's not going to happen. And they had foreign entities looking at that or reading that particular polls or observing that and saying that Peter Obi has been cheated. Now, what do you think about all that? It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Do or die doesn't mean violence, Mahama replies MPP. Well, so do or die, is he now saying that they're also going to back in on do or die as the former the current president also did say? Now there's this wonderful MP. We know what he's doing. He's been helping his constituents to see greener pastures abroad. Is he doing good? Is he doing bad? What do you think? Would you be voting for him? Well, if you complete your university or your whatever education and you cannot get a job to go to, and somebody can give you a hand that way, why wouldn't you even think of voting for him? We'll be telling you more about that. 52 offenders caught in Accra West over illegal electricity connections. Now, apparently, the Ghana Water Company, or whatever they call themselves, somewhere in Accra also actually have done some illegal connections there, and they are owing. So I don't know how they these are all government entities. It's quite interesting what is going on there, but it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. Now let's move on to other parts of the world as well. Leaks suggest US spied on UN chief. The classified files indicate that Washington believed on Antonio Guterres was soft on Russia over Ukraine. Well, lots more going to be coming away from them. Biden celebrates family ties in pub on island tour. Now, thousands of people will gather to greet the U.S. president as he visits the home county of his ancestors. And then Jupiter Moon's mission to assess chance of life. Now, 1.4 billion pounds probe could tell us if the major moons of Jupiter have the potential to support simple life. Well, simple life means what? Is it plants or human beings or what? Lots more going to be coming your way from there. So wherever you are, don't touch the dial. In other stories as well, Trump is said to have sued his ex-attorney, Michael Cohen, $500 million. Want to finish the man. But he is now in New York as well, for another charge against him pertaining to some business deals that is amounting to 250 million. So we'll be following it very, very closely and we'll tell you more about what is happening there. Now, in the UK today, strike action sees UK economy flatline in February. The UK economy saw no growth in February as walkouts by civil servants and teachers hit output. Okay, a minister has proposed stricter rules for holiday lets. Now, turning homes into short-term lets will require planning permission under government plans. Now, what do they want? Interest rates are going up. Now, if people think that, well, the only way forward, let me rent my room out or Airbnb sort of thing, why do they say that they need to regulate it? Now, we'll be telling you more about that as the program goes on. Rail passengers urged to avoid London Waterloo. A significantly reduced service is operating and disruption is expected until the end of the day. And now we have our Home Secretary, Zuela Braverman. Now, her rhetoric is fueling racism, claims Tory peer. Conservative Baroness Wolsey fears British Asians, including her own family, have been put at greater risks. Well, lots more going to be coming your way from there. We're going to take a break, and once we come back, some musical break, we'll be having Mr. Frank Davis in the house as well, and we're looking into details at all the stories making the rounds. Stay tuned. As I did say, Mr. Olayomi Koiki is working behind the scenes this morning and therefore will not be joining us live on. But hey, I hope that you enjoyed the program yesterday. How did you feel about it? The Niger Voices. Wasn't it a wonderful one? Well. We'll be talking more about that in a moment. So stay tuned. Don't you go away. The new song says, smile. My brother, smile. My sister, you too, you can smile.
My sister, smile. Hallelujah. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Lord God. All right, TNS, let me hear you sing. Show me
UK.
Because you are our
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
and depend on you in every situation. We just want to declare this and say, Mitchen, oh, get me. Mitchen, oh, get me. And I'll tell you why. Me wo Jesus, my chimpa, so my me, me wo Jesus, my chimpa, so my me, come on, say,
Oh, yes, I'm more than a rich man. Right, there's got songwriter says that I've got Jesus who is precious to me. Well, I don't know what you might be going through or what your circumstances might be, but you know what? Do what you can do, or you have the power to do. The one that you cannot do anything about it, leave it into the hands of God and let God deal with it. Or whatever you believe in. It could be Allah, it could be whatever you believe in. I mean, a few people have been saying, look, there is some power up there. So just leave it into the hands of the power up there and let's see. Some way, somehow, you come out of it. Okay, so that is from the TNS on .co PIWC. Share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages as well. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. We'll take a quick break, and once we come back, I'll be having Mr. Frank Davis, myself, and we're going to be looking at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe. But I'm going to bring you what is happening in Nigeria, and we continue from there.
This is Starr Radio. This is Starr Radio UK.
In your car, at work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
The best radio show.
Hi, I'm Dr. Donald Palmer and I'm an immunologist. COVID-19 is still with us and making people ill every day, but it's not too late for all adults to book their first or second NHS COVID-19 vaccination. To get these vaccinations while they are still available and protect yourself and those around you, visit nhs.uk/COVID vaccination or call 119.
Welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's go to bring you the updates from Nigeria first, and then we'll have Mr. Frank Davis joining in. Okay, so Tinubu victory, my life in danger, Lagos ex-deputy governor Sinatu is saying. Now let me bring you details of that. That's the first story that we're looking at. The former deputy governor of Lagos State, Alhaja Sinatu Ojikutu, on Wednesday raised the alarm that her life was being threatened over the emergence of the president-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now, Sinatu Ojikutu, our first female democratically elected deputy governor in the country, had prior to the 2023 general election vowed to go on exile if the former Lagos governor emerges winner of the election. So is she going to go or not? I bet people are just trying to chase her out of the place. Now, speaking with newsmen at her residence in Ikoyi, Lagos. Yesterday, the former deputy governor said her life is no longer safe since Tinubu was announced winner of the February 25 polls. She claimed that her rift with Tinubu, former governor of the state, began over 20 years ago when she opposed his governorship ambition. According to her, a move by the former president Olusegun Obasanjo to reconcile her and Tinubu failed a long time ago. She said, I came out before the presidential election to say that if Tinubu won, I, Senator Aderoju Ojekutu, will renounce the citizenship of Nigeria, and I have my reasons. Now, she goes on further to say, it came to me before the election that Tinubu was asking, am I still alive? Now, when somebody mentioned my issue to him, I understand he said, is she still around? What does that mean? What does he mean? She also poses, yes, I am alive, hale and hearty. Have they planned my death? Why should anybody be asking if I am still alive? She goes on further to say, I am safe. Or, okay, let me put it this way. Am I safe? And there are many people like that in my category who are not safe too. Now, speaking on her move to relocate from the country, she noted that when Tinubu won the election, people called to assure her that he will not harm me, but I know this man and I have known him for over 20 years. I know what he has done to me personally. That is a big one there. Now, I don't know when in our part of the world somebody makes such assertion or allegation, we won't have the security agencies coming in to say what exactly went on. Let's investigate. They won't, because we can never speak the truth to power, and that's what causes us to see our leaders doing all sorts, and we're still just following them as if we've got a few screws loosed up there. But well, some will tell you that it's not true, but we'll be talking about it in a moment. But stay tuned wherever you are. And also, looking at some of the other stories making the round, court suspends newly constituted Katsina PDP caretaker committee. Now, Katsina State High Court has suspended the newly constituted caretaker committee of the People's Democratic Party in Katsina State and slammed a restraining order on its leadership. The information coming through said that the PDP National Working Committee had constituted a caretaker committee after it approved the dissolution of the Katsina State Executive Committee on March 23. The delivering ruling in a suit filed by the embattled acting chairman Salisu Ulai and 9 others, the state chief judge, Justice M.D. Abubakar, also granted an order to interlocutory injunction restraining the first respondent, Dr. Abdullah Rahman Osman, including all members of the caretaker committee, from running the affairs of Katsina PDP. The restraining order will remain pending the hearing and determination of the instant suit brought before the State High Court. Now, Justice Abubakar also restrained the second and third defendants, PDP and INEC, respectively, from recognizing the first defendant or any member of the purported caretaker committee constituted by the second defendant to run the affair of Katsina State PDP chapter pending the hearing and determination of the suit. And the question is it setting a pace or a template for the Supreme Court or the Appeals Court or the tribunal that is seeing to the election redress to use as well, so that they can say, you know what, we suspend everything until a full hearing is done and maybe the courts rule on it. But what do you think? I've got Mr. Frank Davis in the house. Let me now go to him and say, Frank, good morning to you.
Archie, good morning, and good morning to our listeners, viewers, wherever they might be. Olayomi, wherever you are, say good morning to you.
How are you doing?
Archie, I'm doing very, very well.
Okay, good. We thank God. We thank God for that. Well, interesting things do happen in Nigeria and across the African continent. And let's pick it from the first story that I did talk about. Now, we have somebody who says that, look, I've had a run-in with the then governorship candidate who became a governor, and after his tenure now I've gone on to become president-elect, whether by foul or fair means, nobody can say that. And then she's saying that, look, I decided that if he wins, then I'm leaving.
Okay.
Now, is it because she was scared of what Tinubu, because she says she's had some run-ins with him and was trying to be sorted out by Obasanjo, which did not, actually happen. So, do you think it's fair for somebody to make such allegation and then the security agency just sit down and not ask what exactly have taken place?
Well, Archie, when it comes to our security, the highest bidder is the one who has the law in their pocket. So I do not think the security, especially a president-elect, if it's going to happen or it's not going to happen, he might be sworn in as a president. We're yet to see what will happen in May. No police officer is going to risk, especially when it comes to our area. It is not this country where the law is no respecter of how much money you have, or how deep your pocket is, how many people you have helping you, or others. That's not what we're looking at. We look at the law working. And if someone has, a public officer and a public figure has, and a woman, to be specific, because we want to protect women in offices. The UN Charter says that we should have 40 to 60% of women representatives. So they are basically like an endangered breed. If we see them in public spaces, we want to be basically
seem to be protecting them and encouraging them instead of
to be protecting them a little bit. You see, the police should, if in this country, the police will start investigating. But I think the lady too is not providing us enough information. If this feud has gone on 25 or 20 odd years ago, there is something between the two of them. Has it got to do something untoward that he was going to do or he was doing and she disagreed? Has it got to do with their personal relationship? If it has to do with their personal relationship, you should go and make a formal complaint to the police that, look, it's because of A, B, C, D, that's why this man has been after my life and still after my life. And I feared that once power is given to him, and every citizen deserves protection. The police has a responsibility and a duty to be able to safeguard her, to protect her. And at least we know that, look, whatever happens, she has already complained. She told us before, and this is what has happened to her. So I think she should give us more information. If it is public, if it's something to do with office, her duty, something to do with the state issue, then I think we deserve more more information. And again, I will encourage her to go to the police. I will encourage her to go to the police to make a formal complaint. If they will not act at all, at least is on record that she has
and reported that before. Now, interestingly, looking at, we know that if nothing happens by the 29th of May, he's going to be sworn in. Now, there is this case in Katsina, which is the president's home country. Okay, and then the judge there has ruled that the PDP, though the PDP were the ones who have won that election, and now taking the reins, and now set this in an interim committee to see to the transition committee or something like that. But the court has ruled. I don't know what the case actually is, but have ruled that an interlocutory, what do they call it, interlocutory injunction on it. So I'm looking at that and looking at the federal case pertaining to the presidential election. That is that setting a pace or giving a template for the judge for that the election petition hearing to say that, look, I'm putting an introductory injunction on the presidential, the swearing until the case is done.
Actually, it's possible. We saw what happened in Kenya. That's why, for me, I would say that it will be in the interest of Nigerians, democracy, Africa, and especially West Africa, where democracy seems to be suffering knocks here and there, for us to see justice being done in this case. And again, it's basically a defining moment for Nigerians and the youth. If we know, if I can see my police station, the results that probably where I voted, the results that are captured after counting has been done, manipulated, inflated in favor of someone, and the person eventually gets sworn in, what you are telling me is that you know what? Crime pays, fraud works. Anything that works, Nigeria has a bad reputation already.
Yeah.
What do you call it? 419 capital. So if we're going to do 419 on ballot papers, we're going to do 419 on collation results, and at the end of the day, we're going to have that, okay, because you have you are smart enough to be able to get people in place to 419 the whole nation. Then cool. What we are saying is that look, let's make it an official, because even our president was elected based on fraud.
Yeah.
The court must be given the opportunity, the public must be given the opportunity to hear the evidence the oppositions have. This is not only Peter Obi and Labour Party. This is the PDP also joining in, having evidence. So at the end of the day, the public must be given an opportunity to look at the evidence that these parties have. We need that because the president himself must have that mandate and that credibility from the citizenry that I'm going to govern them. I get me. Yeah. If you do not do that and you think you're going to be a president, say something and I'll obey, when I know I voted, we counted the result, they were 103, it turned out to be 1,300 for you, and someone who had 20, it became 2. Then it means that you are teaching me to be fraud by all means. That's what I have to do. So I think the court should basically do the needful, the judicial should do the needful, go ahead, look into this case quickly, and probably if an injunction will have to be placed. And I do not think if we want money, it's something that we cannot get. If citizens have to donate,
for a rerun,
let it be done.
But do you think that our courts have got the guts to be able to say, to put their foot down? Because you look at the case of Nnamdi Kanu, where a court ruled that released the person. Up to now, the person is still incarcerated. Another court ruled Sunday Igboho should be compensated for the destruction of his. Nothing has been done. So even if a court ruled that, look, we've annulled the results, APC will say, come on, let's get on with it.
Archie, I mean, that's the whole thing. Whether the police, whether the courts will uphold the law. Because if you look at what the DSS have done, with the Nnamdi Kanu issue and all this, it's a flagrant disrespect and gross disrespect for our constitution. Now, if the state institutions who are supposed to know best and know better cannot respect what defines and governs all of us, then what do we hold that as a constitution again? Are you getting me? So the Biafran, for instance, if they're on the street today, they'll be justified. Because the very constitution that brings us together as Nigerians, the very constitution that tells us that, look, you know what? We can all be ruled or governed by this law. That very constitution has been thrown aside. It has been thrown aside. So for me, if the court rules that suspension or probably interrogating injunction and other things, and APC goes ahead, I mean, what they'll be telling us is that Nigerians, you have the right now to defend your constitution with your blood. That's what they'll be doing. They'll be declaring war.
Well, declaring war. But would they have the guts to even go through it? I mean, especially when they unleash the security agencies on them. But listen, it is Starr Radio UK. Now, interestingly, one other story making the rounds. I mean, sometime last year, a whole building collapsed. I think in somewhere in Victoria Island in Nigeria, if I've forgotten the particular place, but it was in Lagos as well. It was some sort of skyscraper that collapsed and killed the owner of the building and a few people as well. Now, another building, a story building, has collapsed, and this time around in Banana Island, Lagos. An unspecified number of workers were yesterday trapped in a 7-story building which collapsed in Banana Island, Ikoyi area of Lagos. The Guardian learned that the building and the construction came down at about 5 p.m. However, the cause of the collapse could not be ascertained at press time. The source said, while it remains unclear what triggered the collapse, concreting was ongoing on the 6th floor before the collapse. A statement by the National Emergency Management Agency has said. Now, concreting has even caused it to collapse. So can you just imagine if they have just finished and the people have moved in with all their properties and this thing? Do you think what is wrong with us?
Actually, what is wrong with us? If you ask that question, it's going to be difficult because at the end of the day, you and I sitting here know that things do not work. We do know that there are regulations. If you want to build to certain heights, what you should do, what you should not do. Even the foundation of certain buildings will need to be reinforced because of something. Now, if people are building, we saw it happen in Malcolm in Ghana. We saw it. We're not saying accidents don't happen. Accidents do happen. But the first thing we want to find out is whether these builders complied with the architectural design. Was there any architectural design at all? David will tell you there's a reason for geological surveys to be done on certain sites. Was there any survey done to ascertain the type of land, the type of soil, the rock formation, and whatever, to know whether even the building, that the land can take that weight, and if it's going to take, how do we reinforce it? Do we have a situation, or who was supervised, who was the former? Did we need to put 10 what they corner iron rods of probably 50 mm, and then we went and put 15 mm just because
cutting corners?
Are you cutting corners? Are we, the concrete that we mix at the base, the foundation, are we supposed to use 1 cement bag for 3 pounds of what do you call it, stones, and 4 pounds of sand? But we ended up using 3 cement bags for 10 pounds of sand and probably 8 bags of rocks or whatever. So I think all this will need to be assessed. And now that the building has collapsed, and if it were in a working environment, I say working because where what they call, we have the laws and the regulations working. By now that place is a crime scene. We want to know, investigator would like to assess and analyze the concrete. They would like to analyze they will take it to laboratory and test. They would like to know the foundation. They would like to know everything that has gone on in that building up to don't forget, we saw a building that was Akimbo style in Lagos before. Then you ask yourself, what went on? I mean, Stanley Scalia, we have buildings that tilt. Architecturally, you can justify what they've done. The methods have gone in there. So Archie, the system is not working, and the system is not working because we ourselves are not ready to get the system to work. Because if a supervisor goes there, know that the writing, and they give you, oh guy, you just go, this your envelope, and so the guy taking the envelope should have it at the back of their mind, like the Scandinavians will tell us, we police ourselves and we police our system. That look, what I'm doing, if the writing is not done, it's going to be fatal for someone. But we, once it's helping our pockets, we are okay. And actually, it's a disease. To be honest with you, for me, it's gone beyond poverty. I keep on saying, from what I've seen, the experience what I've encountered now, I don't think greed. Greed can call poverty as a mother. No, greed cannot call poverty as a mother at all.
It is sad because the other time I was monitoring some development in Ghana, and they were talking about the East Legon area where some places, some waterways, people have started, filling those places like land reclaiming. So I'm saying that they're going to put up a building there. Now, once you do that, when there is rain, there's going to be flooding, and then because the soil, like you're saying, David would say that it needs to be tested to make sure that whatever they've put there, even is enough or strong enough to hold up. We don't do that, and we put people in. Tomorrow, people will die, and then it's crazy.
Actually, it's a problem. We need to find a way of solving it. The law must work. If we enforce the law, like by this time, the district officials that are in charge of that area should be interdicted. The farmer on that side should be interdicted. The building owner should be interdicted. Are you getting me? The architect should be interdicted.
And the victim should sue big time.
That is it. You know.
Well, what do you think about all that? It's all Star Radio UK, 11:29 the time, the morning show. We just bring you some of the stories making the rounds in Nigeria today. A final one. The Inspector General of Police, Osman Baba, and the chairman of the Police Service Commission, IGP Solomon Aras, retired on Wednesday, met with retired IGPs at the Police Service Commission. Interesting one. That's their corporate headquarters in Jabi in Abuja. Now, there is information coming through. Says the meeting, which was at the instance of Dr. Aras, discussed effective partnership among other salient issues affecting the PSC, that's the police service, and the Nigeria Police Force, drawing experiences from the retired officers who had at various times piloted the affairs of the NPF and the PSC. The retired IGPs who graced occasion are Sunday Hinderu, Ogbono Onovo, a former PSC chairman Mike Okiro, and the incumbent chairman Police Trust Suleiman Abba. The PSC chairman Aras appreciated the IGP and the retired IGPs for honoring his invitation, while assuring that the commission under him will not relent in making sure that the welfare of police officers is well catered for. So he's looking at the welfare of the police officers. Now I'm looking first at the insecurity that is going on in there.
Yeah. Actually, the welfare of the police officers, no doubt, we all want to get the welfare of the police officers. I think it's the first thing that we all need to. So if I'm going to work in an environment that is not secured, and I know my life is not safe, I'm not going to feel confident. I'm not going to be okay in doing that. However, we should also be questioning the police. What is the value? What value are we getting for the current police officers? Are they mostly being used as political tools against the people who are paying them with the taxpayer or what? Because if you hear stories, I'm not saying all the police, but the image we're getting, if you ask a Nigerian, whether do we increase the police pay? A lot of them, what are we getting from Nigeria? If I ask someone who has been a victim of police manhandling, brutality, look at what happened even during this election. The police were supposed to enforce law, protect peace. Ensure that there's peace. If you can see a police officer standing by a car, being given money, pocketing it, and allowing ballot papers or ballot boxes to be taken away, and you are now telling me that such a police officer deserves a better welfare package, I will say no, because they do not know exactly what they're doing. So once we're working or once we're calling for a better condition or conditions of service, the police should also be looking at what are we going to offer the public. Because actually in this country, there's one thing I've realized. Anytime the police, they don't go on strike like that, anytime the police are agitating for a salary increase, the public supports them. You see overwhelmingly that, look at what is happening to the doctors. The public overwhelmingly are supporting the doctors. Why? Because they know the value they're getting from the system. You do not go to a hospital here and then a doctor pull you aside and say, you know what? There's a medical facility at Akwa Ibom Road. When you go there, ask for Dr. Osibanjo, and then where I pick a phone, I've sent to a client, my commissioner. Don't forget. We don't see that in this system. There are special cases where if you have a private medical insurance, you go to private, and there are some specialities where the setup, for instance, if you have angina, heart conditions, it's not every hospital that can treat you. No, there are specialist hospitals that can refer, and even it's referrals. Referrals. We do not have deliberate. You have a headache, they say go and see Dr. Sibanjo. You have a cough, go and see Dr. Miami. You have this in Buhari is there, go and see. No, we don't have that. So when the doctors go on strike, you see the public overwhelmingly supporting them. But here's the case: the police have proven to us that they are abusing the system for their own profit. So if you're already abusing the system for their own profit, the chaos already reigns. Why should I be thinking of your welfare? Unfortunately enough, a few partners doing that, and the good ones that look on will all suffer the consequence of what the perception, the bad perception the public has against it. And therefore, when something needs and ought to be done, yes, you might have been involved, but you also suffer for it because you stood aside, you stood by when the wrong was going on, and you said nothing about it. You know,
it is sad. It is sad. But well, he organized to get old IGPs to put their heads together to talk and whatever. But again, I ask myself the questions: was it IGPs who were under APC or what, or just across board, so that there is no partisan thing in there, but we are looking at things objectively to say that how best can we sort things out. So if that is what they did, then I think that is a good move, though. Okay. Listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. We're going to take a break, but before then, about 2 million Nigerians impacted in federal government poverty growth strategy projects. Are they PDP or APC or who? Okay, we'll be telling you more. Robbers invade Ogun Market and kill a trader there. Was it a targeted one? IMF prefers solution to Nigeria's government borrowing spree. Yesterday on the Niger Voices, Mr. Olayomi was looking at the unemployment rate that is raising to 41% in Nigeria.
If they are not underreporting it.
Yeah. And Frank, before we take the break, I'm looking at that, and I'm looking at when we have people in the Sahel, or the jihadist group in the Sahel, trying to now infiltrate, come south. Okay? Then people like that are easy prey that can be preyed on and just put in there. So it is a ticking time bomb that if our people don't see to it, it's just a matter of time.
Well, it's been there with us. Let's see how we're able to survive it. But at the end of the day, like you said, it's a ticking time, but to get to a point where like what do you call a time bomb, it will go off. And when it goes off, we are all in trouble. The other thing that I think we should be reporting, when these statistics comes out, 41% unemployment rate, we also need to factor in the underemployment rate. Underemployment, because there are people who actively wake up, go to work, come back, and they are slaves. Because there's nothing left for them. They cannot save for it. They cannot. If something happens to them today, they can't even have money to be able to buy. Some people turn their phones off because they don't have family. Getting to the end of the month, people's phone goes off. They tell you they've lost their SIM cards, and then by the 10th it comes back. Their phone, because they don't want family calling them at the end of the month, because they can't. By the time the person, take their transport up and down, buy water, buy this thing, at the end of the day, actually, they are struggling to put body and soul together. Are you getting? So we're gonna be looking at that. Waking up, traveling, trotting. Some people decide not to sleep out because it breeds more. It has health implications. Sitting home, doing nothing and other things. But up and down is also something we should be looking at. Whether it's worth it. If it's a business you are starting, you see a long time go about it, that is fine. But if you are employed gainfully, they call you employment, and you have to, and it's not training. It's not training, it's not internship. Because when it comes to training, when it comes to internship
or apprenticeship,
sacrifices must be made, because you are taking something in return, which is educating and basically training your human capital, developing your human capital for your possible next level. That is different. That is different. Are you getting me?
But it is sad. It is sad. And then we'll have them. You see, if I'm not doing well, okay, I wouldn't want, whilst my children are home hungry and listening, me riding some Rolls Royce, and what is that? I don't get it. I don't actually get it when we put leaders there and they are living such life, lavish life, and as if we are all doing good.
Archie, well, living beyond our means, what can we say? And sometimes that is why some of us do not believe in some of this per capita GDP that when they calculate the GDP per capita, because some people have in excess. And in our part of the world, the interesting thing is that the tax system is supposed to tax progressively. The more you have, the more you pay. So that those of us added who are not having enough will be able to cushion. Be a cushion. Our system works in a reverse way. The more you have, the less you pay. And even what has been paid disproportionately goes to those who have, because they have access to the contracts.
Yeah.
They are able to put their worst into jobs. They are able to see connection and get things done for them quickly. So once you are rich, once you are able to break through, your family is rich, and you are politically connected, privileged in that circle, the taxpayers' money again works in your favor. So it's a double benefit that you're getting. You don't pay more, you pay less than what they call someone selling more money on average, but you still benefit more than someone selling more money, because I don't have a car. I don't drive. They tie the rules for you and I, but you drive a lot of cars, and never my car's money. Meanwhile, when it comes to contracts, when it comes to government issues, when it comes to, you are able to you are able to sponsor your family member to go to school. They come back, and you are able to push them
into those jobs,
to top jobs, and feed all that same taxpayers' money.
Wow, listeners, 11:40, and this is where we bring the update from Nigeria to a close. But let's take a quick break. I'll bring you some music, and then we'll look at some of the other stories making the rounds on the African continent. We have the Darfur region, where another I don't know whether it's war that is looming, or it's not died down yet. It seemed to be going on as we've seen in the past, and we'll be looking more into that as well. And then we have the EU condemning Chad's regrettable expulsion of a German ambassador. Well, it looks like the African leaders are now, when they say, you get out. We sack you. We don't want you any longer. They don't give a hoot whatever you do. Is it because Russia is trying to stand by them, and we have China standing by them, so they think that the West are now enemies? We get rid of them. What do you think? Lots more going to be coming your way. But enjoy this music. This is a cover version from we call them PH, a natural high pH, Africa Unite, a cover version of Bob Marley's tune. Enjoy it.
Foundation is in the wall of mountain. She loves to get the Zion and know the dwellings of Jacob. Yeah, these things have been spoken, you see it, God. Without this entire race, it's your son said that this man was born there. And then the IS themselves had established the earth. Jah Rastafari. Africa unite, cause we're moving right out of Babylon, then we're going to harm our father's land. Marcus Garvey said it, let it be done. We are the children of the Rastaman. As it's been said already, let it be done. We are the children of the higher man. under the sun. We are the children of the Rastaman. We are the children of the higher.
This is Starr Radio,
UK. Africa united. Unite for the benefit of your people. Unite for the greater than insane.
Hi, I'm Dr. Donald Palmer and I'm an immunologist. COVID-19 is still with us and making people ill every day, but it's not too late for all adults to book their first or second NHS COVID-19 vaccination. To get these vaccinations while they are still available and protect yourself and those around you, visit nhs.uk/COVID vaccination or call 119.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Enlighten your day with Starr Radio.
Welcome back to the program. It is now 14 minutes to the top of the hour. It is the Thursday edition of the morning show. I'm Archie here with Mr. Frank Davis, and we are bringing you all that you need to know from archaeology to zoology, from Accra to Zanzibar. As we say all the time, yes, if it's making the headlines, why not? We're gonna touch on it, and we hope that you're also listening in and you also enjoy it. But the lines will be open in the next 13 minutes for you to add your voice to the discussion. So wherever you are, feel free. But before then, if you want to post your comments on our Facebook page or YouTube or on Twitter, as we do on all the social media platforms that we are broadcasting on, feel free to do so as well. Starr Radio UK. Okay, now let's move on to some of the other stories making the rounds on the African continent. The Darfur region has, once again, the Sudanese government has announced that it will take the first step towards the creation of a new state in the country's western region of Darfur, which is bordered by Chad and the Central African Republic, by the end of the year. There have been 24 deaths since last Saturday on both sides, said Mohammed Hussein Timani, a member of the local council for Foro Baranga, a town in West Darfur State, 185 kilometers from the capital El Geneina. By Monday evening, local authorities have declared a nightly curfew and a state of emergency for 1 month throughout the state. Calm has since returned, but many security forces are still deployed, said Timan. The UN has reported 50 houses burned down in Foro Baranga and about 4,000 families or 20,000 people displaced. Darfur is often the scene of tribal violence, among other things, caused by territorial disputes and difficulties in accessing water. Now, the Darfur region has been one thing that we've been looking at. I thought that calm has, occurred there with everything that had gone on. But it looks like, earlier on they were part of the Sudan.
Yeah.
And then they broke away. Or, yes, the UN, they decided to give them autonomy, so they are now a country. And now in there still.
Archie, why are we interested in splitting? Because at the end of the day, Sudan is a very big country. Talking out from the Congo, the border Congo, border Chad, border Egypt, and the border Ethiopia, Eritrea. It's a huge country. Now, again, you look at what they've done in the past, wars, people dying, and other things. The question is, why do they want to split that small place again? I mean, because whoever was carved out, I mean, giving a bit of resemblance of an autonomy.
Yeah,
they're supposed to work and they develop that area. But Archie, I just hope that we'll have a bit of brains coming to work to be able to sort this out. But you see, again tells us that look, breaking out alone does not solve the problem. And that is why if you go back to the issue about Yoruba, you go back to the issue about Igbo, you go back to the issue of Ambazonian issue is quite different because when you look at the makeup of Cameroon, it is not like what it's similar to what we do have in you take a country like Canada. By Canada, you go to the Quebec area. I mean, French speaking. French speaking, their governing style, and even the way they run by federal system. So basically, the central government has less. I mean, from education, the education policies are different when it comes to even the admission dates and everything. Even the university at the university level, they open different. School fees are different. I mean, laws are different. And you get me? There are certain things you can do. I mean, here when you cross to the, you cannot do what you call in the other areas. That is a different issue. But when it comes to Cameroon, that was not the issue. So that's a different. That's a little bit of a different. But when it comes to other countries like we had in Darfur, I mean, we have in Nigeria. I don't know. It's just a few people. For all you know, people who led the split. Now they've succeeded. There's conflict now. Then
they also now want to split.
What? How are we going to? For how many times are we going to do this? I mean, but whatever they do, the few greedy ones should not allow innocent people to die. In all cases, that should be our objective. That we should minimize any casualty that will result from some of those things.
Let me digress a bit. Now, you look at the case of Nigeria, where most of them talk about what amalgamated them, the way they did everything. Now, some were, and then they had a time, a period that look, this agreement is for this period. So after that period, there should have been a review as to whether people still want to belong to that union or think that their best way forward is to leave. So we see the same thing when it comes to the UK, where the Scottish were saying that look, we think that no, we need to review it and we want out. Now, do you think that Africans should give ourselves that option? So you take account, you take Nigeria for example, you take Darfur for example, you take, because people are thinking that look, we don't get on with this right, we don't get on at all, and we don't think coexistence is something that is possible. We've tried it, we don't see, and then we have this wars and what. So allow them to go their separate ways, or have a way of having their autonomy and controlling themselves. Don't you think that will give us some peace?
Actually, we do. It's when it comes to economy, economy of scale is something that we all yearn for. If you look at what we do have in Nigeria, is basically an intercourse between tribes, where we have a lot of tribes coming together. In fact, we are tribal animals. The whole of Africa, we're tribal animals. Nigeria, I think they have close to 90 tribes, languages and dialects that are spoken. We do have even the whole Yoruba area that if you go in, there are still tribes within the Yoruba nation. Now, if we claim we've been marginalized, for instance, because Hausas are marginalized, if we go and the Yorubas, native Yoruba speaking people, or people who say us we are the elites within the Yoruba, are they not going to marginalize the others? I mean, you give credit to Ghana, they've been able to manage those tribal tensions for some time. You take Volta region, for instance. A lot of people, when they mention Volta region, they tell you Ewe speaking. Especially when Volta and Oti region were together. But you move right from Timbuktu going, even before once you move from Eastern, which is across the bridge, going, you then become thrown into Ewe's the Cheetos, the what they call the Pekis, and then you go to they might have a bit of similar, but you go to Amejope, they speak a different thing. Amejope have their own dialect. Yes, they speak the Ewe as a second dialect, as a second language, but they do have a different. Apart from the Anglos, that will have there's a bit of variation that will have Ewe and do not have any other dialect. Okay. That straight from Keita all the way towards whole area. They do not have it. But once you move from there, wherever my the geography says me right, they begin to speak second different dialects and language. So we're a group of people coming from different tribes. I don't know whether the Tower of Babel was built in Africa.
So we all came together now.
No, I don't know. Actually, seriously, I don't know whether the Tower of Babel was actually built in Africa, where Confucian was thrown and we all began, or probably the Holy Spirit came to Africa. Then how did it come that we were brought the Christianity? Because before they came, if the Holy Spirit descended and therefore Pentecost fire came and people begin to speak tongues, where then the tongues then translate to our dialect, then how come we didn't know God? We didn't know Christianity. We knew God. We knew God. We didn't know Christianity. But are you getting me? So how do we manage the tensions between the tribes? Do not forget, some of these tribes are arch enemies. They used to be. As we speak today, the Nkunyans and Alavanyu. What has been ranging? I had an opportunity to meet up with the current president of Queen Mothers in Ghana. Okay. She's actually from Nkunya area. Okay. And we're having a discussion on peace and security issues because knowing the Alavanyu and Nkunya area,
they've always had
actually, there are situations or there have been times that she says, look, if the place is too quiet, they know people from her who will go and start throwing things as if being caused by the others. And they have to come to a point where they have to call the police to alert them. The others also doing because the place is too quiet. Because incitement. Are you getting me? Incitement. So they will form themselves. They'll go to the bush, throw this in from this area, and then you see people rising. Oh, these people are attacking us. So they have to work with intelligence and then plant people both in Alavanyu and other to start fishing people out who actually get, because what are they fighting over? A piece of plot, a piece of land that they are using for nothing. Are you getting me? And again, they tell you, if you look at the tension between the Airways and other thing, it's all starting from the coming from the point that they could not defeat the Airways when Ashanti School, when they were raiding. They did send for slaves. They were all doing their own thing, but they couldn't defeat them. And they will take you to Avatime, that mountain Gemi, and tell you that they didn't have enough guns. Shanties were privileged to have guns, but what they did was to go on those mines, roll the stones on them. As the army were coming, they rolled stones on them. So they seized as victory. So at the end of the day, those tensions, we couldn't defeat. And then we go back to our history. That we did this, Eteni, first. The Northerners used to be our slaves, and therefore today we want
them to still
be our slaves. There's no way Tenny can rule us. I mean, he's from the north and therefore not qualified. But when I want to make Bawumia the president, but he forgotten that he's a Tenny. So actually, that tribal negative, we need to be able to. That's what I'm saying. When it comes to those how tribalism has been brought down, Christianity has been brought down. And religion, not Christian, religion has been brought. We need to learn from Rwanda. Post-war Rwanda, for me now, is a mark that we should all be looking at. How have they handled religion? How have they handled tribalism? Because the Tutsis and the Hutus, still the tension is still there. But when it comes to the national space, they've succeeded in suppressing it. Can we do that in Nigeria? Can we do that in Ghana? Can we do that in Sudan? Actually, if we can adopt and adapt such mechanism, I think some of these tensions will go down. Because actually, look, my village, for instance, when they were fighting the next village, I look at what they were fighting. Oh, it's a plot of land, a stretch of land. Actually,
let me buy it for you.
As I speak to you now, that stretch of land that my village claimed, that way, because these people they claim were settlers. Yes, they came, they gave them land where Kofi Adam is. Between Kofi Adams and this, and there's a town that was slaughtered over there. But when you look at the Hokwe area, that's where the towns are. So how come they came? They are always speaking. They speak at all. How come? So it's okay. It's these people who gave the land. Even Hokwe, they tell you they gave their land all the way to. I mean, all kind of nonsense. That land over there is not even plantain has been planted on it. Everything that has grown over there is nature. It's only animal that enjoy it. Are you getting me? And they've spent time fighting over a stretch of land. Valuable as it is, you've gotten it, use it to for production purposes. So actually, for me, tribalism, we need to find a cure for it.
Well, do you think Africans can actually deal with tribalism so that we can law for peaceful coexistence? And again, we say there is strength in numbers, but we seem to be looking at dividing. But what do you think? People will feel marginalized. What do you think they have to do? So coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's go to Chad. Now, the German ambassador to Chad declared persona non grata for discourteous behavior, left the country on Saturday evening. Chadian Foreign Minister Mahamat Saleh Al-Nadif has said on Friday the government of Mahamat Idris Deby Itno had asked the diplomat to leave the country within 48 hours for non-compliance with diplomatic practices. The German ambassador to the Chad, John Christian Gordon Creek, took the Air France flight on Saturday evening, and the information was confirmed to AFP by Aziz Mahamat. Now, the authorities did not officially specify the exact reason for the expulsion. Now, we see the French, the former French colonies. We see Mali, we see Burkina Faso. They also getting their the French contingent and stuff like that. There. Now, most of the time when you see that happening, then you see that behind the scenes there is Russia and there is China who are now lending their support to this group of people, and they think that, well, so that is something that do you think that is due to Russia and China's influence? That is why we are behaving that way, something that we could have tolerated earlier on, but now we think that no, we had enough. And then what is happening?
Actually, imagine for a minute you are a girl, you have a boyfriend who basically abuses you every day through different means. Sexually abuse you, financially abuse you, everything, insulting your family, calling you all kind of names. You are nothing. Your brains are not. Even she has to buy food. She goes to work. Her money must come to her account, and you decide to tell her which food to buy. Today you can't eat KFC. All those are
controlled.
Everything. Even she has to buy bed sheet, you have to approve the bed sheet, and the bed sheet has to be from your mother or it has to be from your father.
Slavery.
Are you getting me? And then comes a man or another man who just came to settle over there. And once he said, "Oh, you're a beautiful lady. Oh, you know what? You're going to the riverside. Let me help you. Come on, jump in my motor keke. Let's go and let's do this." You say, "Oh, you come from work. You need help. Oh, you are married?" She say, "Yes." I go to fetch water. Oh, next time I'll hold a bucket for you. We go. Archie, when that woman now sees that, no, I've been a slave for too long,
shortchanged,
and say, "You know what? And in fact, the house you are living is even for him, even for the girl." And say, "You know what? Can you travel to your mother's place and tell them I'm preparing to come and visit them?" It's okay. And then when you get to your mother's place, tell her, "You know what? My husband, I've locked my gate. Don't come again." Will you blame the person?
No, because of the way we
the French should look at what they've done to French Africa for this long. For me, I see this as another wave of revolution that is going on. The battle that started when we wanted independence. When we wanted independence, Nkrumah and others fought for Du Bois and others. All came together to fight for independence. Actually, this is what is happening. I am seeing this as another, economic battle that they now want to take themselves out of the bondage that the French authorities have put them under. The French should justify to us, Africans, or should justify to the whole world the kind of policies and the kind of treatment they subject these countries to. Actually, would they, as French people, take this from their colonial masters?
No way. No.
Will Britain take this from the Romans? If the Romans, when they were leaving Britain, had fashioned up a system like that to tie the lungs, the tongues, the legs, and even the necks of Britain, we will have this Britain today?
No.
We will not.
No.
Are you getting me? We will not. So the French, for me, whatever is going to be done by Africans, and actually every day I read this news. I mean, it's about 24 months that we started seeing some of these things. Actually, my heart rejoices because the vision of Nyerere, Lumumba, what do you call him, Nkrumah and others, is still being realized now. We've not finished. So for me, they are fighting for the economic independence, and that's it. The ambassador has nothing to do over there. He should go to their home village. They should also sack what they call we are even wasting money on him. He's bringing nothing back. I mean, to the country. He should leave. He's only enjoying over there doing nothing. They should leave. That money, the amount of money we pay the consulate staff will be enough to build more schools. They should just close it. What we need from them.
But do you think that Africa is ready for something of the sort? Because this is a case where you'll be there the next moment they will say IMF, so the Bretton Woods institutions will now have to come in. Oh, you have this, and they tell you to do that and to do that, because we are not sustainable. We cannot sustain ourselves, and we are not working amongst ourselves to do so.
Yeah, actually, probably the wind that is blowing now might lead to that. I mean, undoubtedly, we can say some of the French countries are performing better economically than others. That is fine. That's an argument because they want it to appear that way. And I mean, at the end of the day, yes, Ghana should not be a yardstick to measure an African country in a way, because as we speak now, yesterday, for instance, the IMF has downgraded our growth projections again to 1.6 by June. Now everybody has given out the hope that, well, when IMF bailout come will be good. But actually, it's just like a girlfriend again who tells you, look, this girlfriend comes or that now that he say, oh, I've gone to see and next I'll perform better or wada another one or now wada. At the end of the day, because we were told that the E-levy will be a financial Bam, where is he?
Oh, it's levy.
Are you getting me? So they've given us so many promises. So this IMF issue for me is soundbite, is noise. Are you getting me? It's soundbite, is noise. Now, past that, economically, we have no excuse. Actually, I do understand. We all talk about trade barriers and all, but we do not have excuse, because trade barriers has nothing to do with rice production in my village. Yes, with my inputs and other, but nothing stops us from aggressively pursuing what Nyerere and others preached about: self-sustain and the first rule of the law. I mean, every soldier is told when you get to the field, preservation of life. You have to preserve yourself. Self-preservation is the first call. So the question is, how are we preserving ourselves as Africans? That's the main question. But actually, you see, when you come to the French Africa, it's a different ballgame, because the French Africa is basically, do you know what I've forgotten the name of this? You know, these poor puppets on the streets, and the way they control them with
the Coliko thing that is pulling them.
That is exactly what the French have done to the French Africa, and that's what they continue to do today. Given the opportunity, what some will say, well, but we told you, Ghana is not being controlled, but look at the mess they are in. Nigeria is not being controlled. Look at the rubbish that they are in. So, don't you think it was better for the French? Because even Ghana people are even asking now, let's go back and colonize them. Let's
get them to come and colonize.
As we speak, the IMF has given out someone to help our
the Ministry of Finance and
the Washington has also helped our Ministry of Finance. So basically, we have the men. The colonial masters and their brothers are still there to dictate to us what to do. Are you getting me? So the French, you say, oh, you see, your neighbors are in a shit because they couldn't manage themselves. So to some extent, we have justified the colonial attitude and stance that are still being expressed, or the deeds that the crime that is being committed against the people of Africa. But you see, Archie, I prefer we make our own mistakes, correct them and move on, than have perpetual ropes on our neck. Yeah.
Okay, listeners, it is Star Radio UK. 9 minutes past the top of the hour. The time. That is 9 minutes past 12, and let me announce the lines open, and we can bring you one other story. ICC arrest warrant for Putin. Big dilemma for South Africa government. Do they care? Well, if you want to join in the conversation, it's 0208-133-2257 or 580208-133-2257 or 58. You happen to be in the US, Canada, or the Caribbean area, it is 001-718-303-2737 001-718-303-2737. You can also text or WhatsApp us. It is 075-3966-1744 075-3966-1744. Our Twitter handle is Starr Radio UK, and email address is info@starradiouk.com. Alright then, it is a Thursday edition of the morning show. With me in the studio is Frank Davis. I'm Archie. Now let's go to this story before we go to Ghana. Now, South Africa said on Wednesday that an international arrest warrant for Russian President Vladimir Putin had complicated matters for the country ahead of the BRICS summit that is due to take place in August that South Africa is hosting. Now, our heads of state will be expected to attend the summit, but now we have a spanner in the works in the form of ICC warrant, said President Cyril Ramaphosa's spokesperson Vincent Magwenya. Now, the bloc of 5 leading emerging economies groups together Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Now, Pretoria has close ties with Moscow and has refused to condemn Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and also hosted a controversial joint military exercise with Russia and China, but coincided with the 1-year anniversary of the start of the war. But South Africa faces a diplomatic dilemma following the issuing of the arrest warrant. As a member of the ICC, it will be expected to arrest if Putin steps foot in the country. So let's say come August, the date for that BRICS conference, and Putin comes.
Yeah.
Will South Africa arrest him?
Actually, it is not if Putin comes. Putin will be there. Putin will be there. South Africa has already indicated. I think what their foreign affairs lesson has already indicated. Look, that relationship is not something they want to break.
Non-negotiable.
It's not negotiable. Actually, it is only a recent past that Russia suffered for South Africa.
Yeah.
It's only a recent past. And if friends are to be there for each other, then there's a time they need. Besides, Russia is not a signatory to that. US is not a signatory.
Yeah.
Are you getting me?
Is UK a signatory?
Why do you want to use? Why do you want to use South Africa to achieve your goals? So that you point fingers. If you want to arrest him, send your people there to go arrest him. I mean, you are free to do that. Why should it be an African country? All, I mean, what do you call it? South Africa have to do is to withdraw from the International Criminal Court agreement.
Okay.
I mean, how many, basically, apartheid leaders, ex-apartheid leaders, have they taken there to be prosecuted?
None.
So why are they there? What for? Why have we tied ourselves with something? The US will be the first international law, but you are not a signatory to any reasonable international law.
They don't want to be under any international.
They don't want the most important international law. If you want to, talk about it, will be the ICC.
Yeah.
Why are they not a signatory to it? When we know, Ajay, you see, yesterday I was having a conversation with someone. Wars and rumors of war. Please, I don't want to tell any one listening to one that the world is coming to an end, as the Bible says. Actually, that's not what I want to say. But rumors of war and wars are a business.
Of course.
Are a business.
Of course.
Look, take the US alone. They have a hand in what is happening in Ukraine. In fact, the leaked documents now tells us that contrary to what they've been saying, UK has 50 boots
on the
special
ground.
forces on the ground.
And I think US have got 30
US
or 21.
has. So basically, actively, they are participating in the war, not just equipment supply. They are actively in the front fighting Russia. Are you getting me? Actually, as if we don't know or people do not know what is the call military. All they are doing is trying to practice themselves, use Ukraine to run down any military capability. Soldiers, let's reduce their soldiers number, their military stockpiles, arsenal stockpile, let's reduce them, we can attack them. That's what they are doing. Preparing the ground for what they call it, to destroy Russia, to attack Russia. Why would they be putting F-35s, F-16s in Poland? And now they've succeeded in getting Finland to join with borders, which again they are going to militarize. All they are doing is trying to build a blockade, and then we can invade from everywhere that we can if we want to take down this thing. The same US involved in Korea. The same US, as we speak, is now involved in Taiwan. Why? Because what did they do yesterday? 25 defense defense company flew to Taiwan. They flew to Taiwan. What were they going to do? To negotiate with Taiwanese companies how they can build drones over there. It's all business for them. It's all business for them. Are you getting me? So US now is making huge sums of money. They allow billions of this thing is going to Europe. How much are we giving in cash? How much are we giving in cash?
No.
All is going in terms of what? Arms. Who are producing it? Them. Is it not jobs that is creating? I said to everyone, if you are someone who get involved in shares buying and all, if you know any defense company, buy their shares now.
You'll be making lots of money.
You'll be making it for the next 5 years. Wars and rumors of wars, and we're going to have more of them. This Russia-Ukraine war is not ending now, and we might end up having China
getting involved as well. Okay, listeners, Starr Radio UK, what do you think? Yes, add your voice to the discussion, as we've said, and we promise you one thing for sure: we gonna see to it that whatever you said is heard. Now let's go to Ghana, my beloved country. Mahama challenges journalists to fact check dog meals for SHS students. Now, was it this week or sometime last week, and a few times that we discussed this issue, you talked about that one Ghana cedi or less than that they are giving to them per day or per meal is, virtually zilch. Because I don't know, unless the government has got some farms that they are like Kwame Nkrumah did, they are state farms, and then they were working there, and therefore everything that is coming from there is virtually free. And so, but the former president, the presumptive presidential candidate of the opposition National Democratic Congress, NDC, John Dramani Mahama, has challenged the media to fact check his comment about poor feeding of senior high school students. Mr. Mahama came under verbal attack by the governing New Patriotic Party when he said even dogs will reject food being served students under the free SHS program. Now, he is gone on to say, journalists, you do diligent by checking the facts, whether what I'm saying is true or false. I was trying to see whether I can get somebody from Ghana to take a picture of their meal at school and then send it to us.
Archie, you don't need to go. You don't need to go far. I might be able to give you a video before the end of this program. Before the end of this program, Archie, I've looked at some of those videos. I've watched them. I have 2 dogs. I have Libra and Leo.
Okay.
Archie, some of those food I will not give to those dogs. That's being honest with you. I have 2 rots. I will not give them. They might even put it, they will not eat it. Archie, a few days ago I was sent. You see, this mentality of you are giving me food and therefore you should give me everything, or you are helping me.
So you
are helping me everything. Probably I'll decide with you because you are helping me. You are helping accommodate me. you can tell me anything. You are helping feed me.
So
you can give me anything to it. No. Is either you do it or you do not do it. Actually, some of the what can one Ghana what, how much is even, actually, do you know roasted plantain?
Yeah.
Coffee Brookman.
Yeah.
Do you know how much one costs? Not the full plantain, you know the way.
Yeah.
Do you know how much? It's one of my favorite foods. It's one of the favorite when I'm on a.
My mom likes that. I said, like, what are you eating?
If I come to your house and you give me that and you give me jollof, I'll take that.
Oh wow.
Oh yes. Because why? Especially when I'm on the streets in a crowd, I'm moving, and that's what I buy. Before I get to a restaurant, it has to be something I can trust a little bit. But this one is coming straight on the fire. Yes.
Feeling gadoji.
Hot. Any gem, any this thing has been.
That's a good one.
So that's why Archie is 2 Ghana cedis.
2
Ghana cedis. Just one. Not the food one. You know, sometimes they call the plantain to 3.
Yeah.
It's 2 Ghana cedis. Some can go, they divide it, one plantain can get about 5. 2 Ghana cedis. Archie, we are saying students or people should be fed or 90 cents, 98 or whatever cent a day.
Is it Ghana cedis?
Yeah, I mean they call it cents or whatever, pesos or whatever they call it. Archie, it's unthinkable. I'll try and get you the video. When you look at those videos, Archie, you cry. And one thing that worries me is that, look, we also have to look at the political equation in all this. At the end of the day, Archie, these are political women, so to say, who have been given this.
Yeah, that contract.
How much of that money do we have bribe already taken out of? How much of that goes to, okay, we've given you a contract and therefore you must pay this into the party coffers?
Yeah.
The minister who signed or people who signed, the executive must take a percentage.
Yeah.
Look, I can say it. The independent that happened, the contract that was awarded from Jubilee House, about 40% of that money was taken before it went. That's the truth.
I see.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I have a source. About 40% of that money that was supposed to go the roads, preparation of that place, at the point of the contractor stopped because he ran out of money. It is a voter development organization. So seeing the what they call the shame that they stepped in. They stepped in to make that independent project become a reality. Ghana, because there were people who were coming to us the first time it was going to that region. So they needed to step in. They needed to step in, do things differently. Are you getting me? So of this 98p that we are being told, how much of it actually goes into the preparation of some of these foods?
And they have to make profit on it as well?
Any minister, district chief executive, government official should walk into one of those schools, not the schools that they'll prepare men and show it for the camera. Today we know Baumia is coming, so therefore let's cook something. They should go. There are some foods that we'll send to them. They should tell us if they will give those to their children. I wouldn't.
Because not to cut you, but
I wouldn't actually.
It is sad because those who have will be okay, but the poor, that you have deceived them, saying that this free SHS is free, blah blah blah. So the poor mother or parent just took the child to that school that go and educate yourself. You are hungry, so how can you even have the peace of mind to learn properly?
That is it. And then actually, the sad aspect of it is that is a time we need, what do you call it, the children to have a decent meal. For listen, actually I've got a video, I'm going to send it to you, and then you play the video. I mean this I've just sent in one of the videos, and this is coming from a school, one school. I mean they mention the name of the school. Just watch it and tell me if even dogs will eat that. Actually, that is the food that our children, and that is when the children need nutrients. So if you ask a child what is the head used for and they tell you it's used for carrying load, you blame them.
Wow. So
that's a video.
Okay, listen, don't you worry. I'll put it on for you to see for yourself, because I'm looking at it and I'm asking myself, is that dirty water that is being poured, or what is it?
When we were in secondary school, we used to have something we call gas oil.
Yeah.
Actually, gas oil.
10
times. You actually get tinapa in some.
Yeah, they put some chunk of this in there.
That's what we are, and then you look at what they call a mutuo. You cry for them.
Oh God!
Actually, if I have a child, and I appeal to our listeners, if you have a child in any of the schools in Ghana, please support them. Support them if need be. Please try and support them, because what is happening? You're gonna look at the political impact of exactly how those contracts are awarded.
Yeah.
How much of that 98 pesos actually goes into the production of those food.
Wow.
That's what you have as school feeding. So if someone points out that dogs will not even eat this, why do you blame the person?
Listen, let's take a quick break so that you can watch the video. I've got it ready, so I want you to see for yourself and judge it. And if some of our kind decide to say that, oh, government is giving them a good meal, then what do they really mean by that? Stay tuned.
School feeding Oshimasi Anglican baby school and say it's a trouble for Monka and Mayan. Yaka, when you're not doing so better, more show and final and final. And then finally, it's Monka once and Mayan. Yadam once say,
I'm gobsmacked, because I don't think I will take my word to a school, and that's why the former president said even dogs will not eat that, because it's nothing for you to
and
think.
The lady said something that today, and for them to do that video, they mentioned the school.
Yeah.
So we have a location.
Yeah.
It's not dream. We know where the school is. We know the teachers over there. We know who is the cook, because a contract was awarded to someone to cook for these kids. And they are telling us now that today the children refused. Prisoners will not eat this. And these are children who need nutrients
to develop
for their brain development. What crime have they committed? So if in future your human resource, actually, we're creating a problem for ourselves, because what we've done or what we're doing, a whole generation is being harmed, both in terms of their competitiveness when it comes to academic in other areas, how to compete with other people from different schools. So basically, we are engineering their exclusion, and we are from what we call the society. We are engineering the exclusion from good jobs. We are engineering the exclusion from having more prospects for life, and that will become a vicious cycle, because once we engineer it and they fall into that trap, it then becomes difficult to come out of those vicious cycles. Or deliberate government policy. The intention might be good, but you see, you have put impediment, you are acting, your implementation is bad. Why must I be an MPP person to be a cook? Why am I being asked to pay bribe on whatever? Why have we made the school feeding program a job for the women and the girls and the boys to profit our constituency executives? Why have we done that? Why have we excluded parents' participation? Actually, I don't know. I don't get it. I can't get it. This school feeding program was started under President Kufuor.
Yeah.
We congratulated him. The Danish government came in. In fact, the consultant who worked on this project, Joe Appiah, I know him personally. He was one of the key players in getting the Danish government to be able to help some of these things. You get me? He worked with that and worked with Canadian Basin as well. Archie, when MERS came, the only difference that MERS came to do or did was two. Let's improve on quality of the food. So they increased the amount spent per head. They then said, okay, we have actually implemented this program and it's meant for cameras. Because schools like Archie, Monster, Presec, they were those benefits, they well-to-do schools. Because we're able to take the ambassadors and others there. But in reality, people who go to Monster every morning, when you line up over there, SUVs
that are dropping them off.
These people can afford. Progressively, therefore, let's take the school feeding program to the more deprived areas so that we gradually expand it. So the commission and assessment to be done. The more deprived areas were supposed, if it is 10 Ghana that we have, let's take it to the poorest of the poor. And then we begin to expand as budgetary allocation increases towards some of these things. We then expand to that. They came in, said no. Uncle Father and his people came in. And again, the other thing, someone should tell me that they qualify to be a cook under that program because they were NDC. Under most. Someone should come and tell me that when they were condemn them to do. But when you deliberately make a policy that you have to be the first in bidding, can you cook? We're looking for cooks, right? Actually, if I am in a village and I can cook, why don't I be given contract to cook? No. Someone who hail from somewhere will be given the contract, and probably they also subcontract, knowing that about 40% of that money has already been taken.
So already the one that's going to use
there's a
now.
long funnel at the top level with head chop off, at the regional executive district level part chop off, at the executive level chopped off, and then so what goes to the person who cooks is meager. How do you expect them? I don't blame the cooks.
No, it's what they've been given. It's what they've been given, and that's what they can provide.
I don't blame the cooks. Food is not expensive. Oil is expensive. I don't blame the cooks. How you get me? Actually, that's what has befallen us.
It is sad. It is sad. I mean, I mean, if I see that particular, I will be sick. I will be sick.
So now you have evidence. You have video evidence. You have video evidence. And I think the former president will need to go and pay what do you call it? Is it loyalty or royalty? Because the lady said in that video the journalist should speak for them. And now Mahama is also saying that he should have cited the woman for. So I think Mahama will be caught for plagiarizing.
Wow, listen to Starr Radio UK. Hey, some Moses, he said people are not commenting. Why have they run out of Naira or CDs? So Moses, we know that you are doing good. We know that you are doing good. Thank you very much as well. But let's look at another story from Ghana as well. But it is a very sad one with this that we just looked at, and I hope, I don't know whether, like you did say some time ago that the president was of view that everything about the thing was good and people were, but later on found out. But when he found out, what has he done about it?
Because if they break the say, oh, we allocated this to our this, we allocated this to our this, we allocated this, that's what they will do.
Okay. Now there's been one MP who someone will say is doing very well. A member of parliament is supposed to redeem promises made to their constituents. More often than not, such promises are over developmental issues like roads, schools, water, electricity, health centers, and the likes. Okay. In the case of Alfred Obeng Boateng, the member of parliament for Bibiani Anwian was so the quiet constituency in the Western North region, the promise is to deliver greener pastures in the literal sense. The Youth Greener Pastures Project, as popularly called, is targeted at sending young people in the constituency to the United Kingdom and Europe to try to make it away from home. Now, a good cause. Okay. But I come to the question again. Those people who are coming, you are sending them out. What are you sending them out to come and do? Have they got the educational, or are they in educational institution? How are they bettering them? Are they here without documents? And that, because I don't know what means, unless of course they are using bringing them in as some health workers, blah blah blah, or something of the sort. But that's an MP. That's the promise that he gave, and decided to fulfill that promise.
Archie, you know what? It's a very, very tough one. Ethically and morally, it might sound wrong, but I'll be a hypocrite if I sit here and condemn him. Two things. He sees his people suffering.
Yeah.
He sees that the better Ghana that has been promised them is not happening. He sees that a few guys that have been able to serve John are doing well. If he has an opportunity, what will he do?
Yeah, give the opportunity to others to also.
He will do it. Difficult as may be, that he's actually someone who should not be encouraging brain drain. He's active in Archie. He was elected to first serve his people. And if he's going to put a program in place that will help his people, all he's doing is the bread and butter equation for his. I do not support. I am not in favor of what he's doing. I am not. That a whole. But actually, we all cute.
Yeah.
People helped.
Yeah.
Sometimes when we're in trouble, we go to. I mean, my friend, I have to even call him Joapia. The daughter is Esther is going to Germany. I mean, he's one of those big guys in the town. But the Esther is going to Munich tomorrow to continue education. Are you getting me?
Yeah.
If he's sending people out, the other question is he sending them out to school?
That's it.
Or he's sending them out because the story, we don't know if the story has not said whether he's sending them out to school
or just going to work.
But even the whole country, when we send people on scholarship, do we even, find a way whether to bring them back? And even if they come back, do we basically have jobs for them?
No.
You don't know someone who went to China to study software engineering. They came back, they're looking for a job. The person has families in there, so he decided to return. There's a wife over there, the children over there, so decided that I have to return. But actually, for over 2-3 years now,
you are there.
They're not getting a job.
So what's the point of coming back? You would as well as have stayed there or gone to
the
another
other time,
country.
as I was talking to him, he said, look, I should have even opened a shipping agency over there and be helping Ghanaian ship. I would have been far, far better.
Yeah.
But I have my children here. What do I do? So it's a difficult question. When the whole war is coming, why do generals send their children to safety?
Yeah, you people go and face it. We are going to be thinking so.
You know, actually, it's a difficult one. It's very, very difficult. It's a bad thing to do. But when you are in his position, actually, I sympathize with him.
Well, people are chastising him, others are celebrating him, like we said, but you're looking at people who are desperate and you cannot be able to be giving money to them every time.
You're going to have divided opinion. Look, at the end of the day, he will touch lives. At the end of the day, these people will be able to fend for themselves. At the end of the day, these will not be queuing in front of his office. And some of them, if you put a scale factor of 2, at least, or if a scale factor of 1, that 1 shall become 2. And each of them is able to help another one person. That is, are you getting me?
Yeah.
That's it. You know.
Okay, listeners, Star Radio UK in 12:38. I was going to say 11:38. It's 12:38 from the heart of London. It is the African and Caribbean radio station in London, Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. IGP must resign for failing in Galamsey fight. That's what Jantua is calling for. Former presidential staffer and political commentator Mr. P.V. Jantua Datsun is calling for the resignation of the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Akufu-Dampare, for failing in the fight against illegal mining, otherwise known as Galamsey. According According to him, the Ghana Police Service is part of the government's organization in the fight against galamsey, after its officers were sent to various parts of the country to end the menace. On the issue of the galamsey fight, don't you think it should be good for the IGP if he resigns from office? Mr. PV Jantua asked on a Kumasi-based station. Mr. PV Jantua calls were in reaction to a viral video that saw an officer begging a civilian for his life in a galamsey community.
Yeah.
Now, it's not only the police force that are in the forefront of this said battle.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have the military who are there. We have got various other things there. Now, so why should the IGP be pinpointed for in this particular
Actually, once we are ahead, it's just like football. When we fail, the
coach has to go. But he didn't play the ball too.
He didn't play the ball too. So yes, rightly they have to call for the head of the IGP, because all they are saying that the IGP, you are not doing what you're supposed to do. There are these elements within your fold who must be looked at again and probably punished if need be. Because if you watch that video, it's sad. And we've seen two of them, I mean, within the last few days. Another one surfaced where a gun was being taken from another
officer.
And you ask yourself, can we get that? Do we see that? Why don't we see that over here? It tells you how low the police have gone. The police have lost their moral authority. They ethically, they are corrupt. So people look at them and they say, oh, another person. They're looking for money. They're looking for this. The other time we spoke, I told you, there's nothing wrong giving a police officer money. When I went to Ghana, a few guys, in fact, it was I called my father, he stopped me. You would have heard that probably I've taken the police administration to court.
Why?
Actually, my driver was coming from the voter, and I sent him to go and I had a problem with the car. It was late at night. When it's night, where do you seek refuge?
A police station, of
the
course.
Nearest, we are told in school that in a village that you go to, if there is a police station,
go there.
The headmaster, the pastor's house, or the chief's house. Those are the areas that you are taught. The police, the teacher, the pastor, the imam, or the chief's house. Why? Because there are people, the society reverend, we see that as people with a bit of lesson. Now this guy asked the police if he can park the car in front of Afienya police station. And say yes. So he and the other guy that were in the car helped push the car into the, waiting for the mechanic to come and have a look at the car. Actually, apparently when they were pushing, they brushed a plant that had been planted by one officer, the inspector of that place. They went and deflated the tires of the car. The police deflated the tires of that. When he got there, actually, they had to pay the inspector money before they allowed the car to go. I wanted them to pay because I needed the evidence. I drove the plant, there was nothing wrong with the plant. So I have the videos. So one officer over there happened to know someone. So when I spoke to the person said, okay, I'll call this person. He said, look, whatever the inspector did, all of us at the station do not agree with him. I even have his car number. The officer have his car number. And I was going to push the case. Before the guy said, no, I should just leave it. So they wanted to meet me. I said, I'm not avail myself for any meeting. You get me? Now, such an inspector, if I see him, I know what opinion should I form over the police?
Wow.
One opinion. Another case. We had someone went to bribe a police station. They went to somewhere and were supervising the beating of someone. They beat the person till the person pop. The person will have to defecate.
Wow.
Then the police thought they were going to prosecute the person. They said, oh, they'll take it to court. And the person happened to be someone I know. So when we go, they told us, I said, let's go to the police station. So I went to the officer. And I told her, okay, this is a medical report. Because when one of my got the person to go to hospital to do x-ray, this is a medical report. You supervise brutalization of this, so we want you to take to the court, take the issue. There also has to be a family issue. So I said, okay, if you like, call them, let them come, and let's have a chat. And then they will ask me, why didn't I come to the family? And they said, look, at the end of the day, I don't know you were involved. All I know is that this has happened, and then the police were there. This issue had brought. One of my cousins had to be going to report. I said, okay, we are withdrawing the case from this police station. We're taking it to Accra. The bail condition, we are substituting my cousin with another person who is in Accra. We're ready to go to court. If they are ready to withdraw the case, because for me, family issues, I don't want to get involved. If they're ready to withdraw it, the police were pressing my cousin to pay them money so that they withdraw it, so that the case.
Wow.
I mean, I don't know. We're not doing anything. Nobody is paying any money. 5 days ago, I had a call from Ghana. Why? The police were calling my number. Why? Because I said I was coming to see them. I didn't come. They will take the issue to court. So I told the person, tell them we'll meet in court. Simple as that. You don't take bribe. And so if people are calling police administration, all they are asking Dan Perry to do is that there's rot within the police administration. Public confidence in the police administration is so low. For a civilian to have the courage to do that to a police officer, saying because of money that I was used as an errand boy for the police, I go around to collect money from them. Sometimes I bring about 50,000, they only give me about 1,000. I collect about 100,000, they only give me a peanut. Almost every month, like rent. The Galamsey operators have to pay rent, and I am a 22-year-old boy. I collect that rent for the police, and sometimes they just give me a peanut. And therefore, the rent I collected was about 100,000. Then I said, no, I will not give it to them again. He said, look, I am now building a hotel, a 86-bedroom hotel, 22-year-old boy. I got those money from the rent. Yes.
Wow.
I have tarred a road. I've built a road for the community out of that rent I collected from the Galamseys. The police are actually people. Even the gun I have is the police who gave me the gun. So you see, the police then went and declared the person an armed robber.
Oh, give
so that they
bad
can
name,
kill
so that
him.
they can, yeah.
It's just like what happened when a police officer stole money, and then another police officer have to kill him to silence him.
Oh wow!
But again, go to the police. The people you recruited into the place. If you actually a police force in this country, when they are doing recruitment, they do not tell you whether you are a conservative
no
or a labor.
No.
Can Japan, what did he say? He said he alone has recruited people, 30 people into the police force. That's what he said. When you have a police force that has now been positioned to recruit party full soldiers and then brainwash them that they are an extension of a political party, what do you expect? Do you expect any professionalism?
Interesting.
And here we are. Do you think Nigerians will respect police?
No.
When they saw a lot of police officers working hand in hand
with people rigging election,
with people rigging election in the name of APC government power, do you think Nigerians, decent Nigerians, will respect the police force? No. Do you want to blame them? No. If something is happening to the police today, do you want a Nigerian to go and support them?
No, they wouldn't.
You don't expect that. So the police administration must act. Rightly you said, the Galamsey, we know a lot of rot has gone on. Peter went and spent $4 million buying drones. Where are they? Here in Baumia.
I think they're giving the drones to their kids. They are playing with it, or their family before. They play with that.
Wow. The future is pregnant. The future is pregnant.
Made birth, and let's see what is going to birth. Now then he says, wow, I mean, virtually shocked with everything that we've been saying pertaining to the meals for students and what is happening when it comes to the police service as well. But well, listeners, it's quite an interesting development when it comes to Africa. We have to leave it all there and then touch on a couple of stories, then we can bring the program to a close. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, Myanmar, something seems to be going on there, and it's quite worrying. Now, more than 100 people are feared to have been killed in Tuesday airstrikes by the Myanmar military, one of the deadliest so far in the civil war. Now, it comes to where it's a give a dog a bad name, and then you can. So, if I say you are all terrorists, I can come and kill you, and then I go. And that seems to be what is happening. The United Nations has condemned the attack, which targeted the village in the northwestern Sagaing region. The military has increasingly used airstrikes against their opponents since seizing power in February 2021. The spokesman for the military junta, General Zhao Min Tong, told state television, yes, we launched the airstrike. We said they had chosen to attack the Pazi because the village was holding a ceremony to mark the opening of an office for their local volunteer defense force. These anti-coup militias, known as People's Defense Forces of the PDFs, are waging an armed campaign against the military in various parts of Myanmar. Communities in Sagaing have put up some of the strongest opposition to the military, and they know that these people don't have any air defense system to protect themselves. And it looks like with what is happening in Ukraine, so all the attention seems to be there, and we've forgotten about Myanmar.
Archie, the Myanmar case for me, with what has gone on, like I told you some time back about the former leader who was
Aung San Suu Kyi,
who was helped, praised, awarded globally, but supervised what happened to those Rohingya refugees, those villages that were burnt, and she had the guts to defend it. For me, from that day, I started closing my mind. So now she's in prison. Basically, I have no sympathy or no remorse or whatever. Yes, military should not have taken over, but I think for me, the sympathy that should be going to her side, she's not getting it. Until she took power, almost everywhere, her name. But what she did in the office is not anything for me. That singular act, supervising what I call genocide, a whole tribe, people, villages burned down, petrol thrown people, children drowning, without anything sensible, not even competition, denying it, defending it. It's the same military that carry out those acts, justifying it. Now
they turn the guns on you, and
you want us to come in. It's only unfortunate when this is happening. Innocent people are going to suffer. But actually, at the end of the day, I think people who will have to speak have lost their voices, partly because there was an opportunity for the public to stand up and speak the truth. They all were quiet, because when that thing happened to those refugees, at least we expected some voices within the country to speak up. The leadership of that country, and I think she comes from that area. She had a popular support in that area. So now the military have taken over. Yes, our people have been thrown out of power, therefore we have to prevent it. I'm not justifying what they're doing, but you see, when something is happening to someone today, you know it is wrong. You know it's a wrong thing, and you do not want to say it. The date you come to you, don't expect
others to come and support you that way. Well, listeners, it's Starr Radio UK. Let's come to the UK with one story, and then we bring the program to homeowners will need to get planning permission before converting properties into short-term holidays let in tourist hotspots under government plan aimed at easing housing problems. There could be exemptions based on how often a home was available to tourists. Now, ministers have launched a consultation on the plans, which would only apply in England. Housing Secretary Michael Gove said too many people were being pushed out of cherished towns, cities, and villages. Now, Frank, if I have a property let's say, a place where tourists troop in. Now, if I rent my house out to, ordinary people just in the community who are renting a long-term rent, and I think that no, with everything, the interest rate and everything that is going on, I'm not making anything from there. But if I use it for short-term, where people, tourists or people just come in, or like the Airbnb, people can come in, I can make something out of it, then you say that no, we can't do that because we are pushing people out of the rental bit.
You see, there's a clever way of blaming the private individuals for the failures of the government. When this government was taking over, they told us that they were going to be constructing 300 housing units, 300,000 housing units every year. They've ditched that policy. They should show us where the 300,000 houses have been built, if for nothing at all. When they were making that promise, even from the year 2019, during that election, they should show us 2020, what do you call it, 21. They should show us where we have had these things built, the schools built. Archie, I am disappointed about what they're trying to do, because it's not going to work. It really is not going to work. The man succeeded with a few things, but generally they're not going to succeed. Why do I say this? Archie, if I'm renting my room out, probably I've moved and I'm also working somewhere, and a lot of people, that's what they do, spare rooms out. They are incurring, sometimes they go somewhere, they also go to pay. You're gonna look at what it takes to have a tenant in your house who is not paying, but because you've signed a long-time contract with them, you have to be paying. I see here now, Archie, someone is owing me 5 months rent. Someone is owing me 5 months rent. What do? The person is a human being. Once you get to know the person emotionally, it's difficult to chuck people out of your house. Are you getting me? What do? If I have my way, I'll convert it into a short let. Because short let, they come in. If I get people for 14 days or 15 days, I cover the cost for 1 month. They use less electricity, less gas, less water. I have more space. If I have a visitor, I can decide to block it. Not someone. Are you getting me? I have a room I use for Airbnb, and if you ask me to put it on full-time days, I will say no. I'm going to tell you no. Government come after me, planning permission, come and supervise it. I'm not going to do it.
Wow, Frank says he's not going to do that. But what do you think about that? Let's take a quick break and we'll round up the program.
Hi, I'm Dr. Donald Palmer and I'm an immunologist. COVID-19 is still with us and making people ill every day, but it's not too late for all adults to book their first or second NHS COVID-19 vaccination. To get these vaccinations while they are still available and protect yourself and those around you, visit nhs.uk/COVID vaccination or call 119.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medase.
Okay, listeners, it is Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, and virtually this is where we are bringing the program to a close. But whatever we've discussed today, we hope that you've enjoyed the program, and hopefully we'll be here tomorrow morning as well to bring you the Friday edition of the morning show. But before we go, Frank,
Archie, they shouldn't do what we didn't do, which is not to allow Nigerians to befall us. But we are appealing actually, for those who are in Ghana, those who have parents from Ghana, if in a way you can help your wars in school, please do, because what we having happening, and Ghana is even better than certain areas anyway, but I can only speak for what I know, and let's do what we need to do. But let's, especially those of us who get back home, let's tend to implement what we've learned over here. Don't allow the system to basically take over your thinking, which is what a lot of people have allowed. Yeah.
Let's take a last minute call. Felix has just joined us.
Okay,
So
all right.
a quick one. Let's go to him. Hello, Felix. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'll make it snappy.
Okay, okay.
Possibly give you a longer call maybe tomorrow or
All
Tuesday.
right. All right then.
Right. It's not to defend the Conservative Party. Not that I have the time and space for them anywhere in my DNA. But you see, these sort of short-termness, it does bring significant problems. If you happen, sometimes what people forget is that major tourist locations are also hometowns of some people.
Of course.
You know, major tourist locations are some hometowns of some people. That's where some people have been born, raised, live generations after generations. They don't have anywhere else to go. That's their home. So you may go to maybe the west end of London and you may think that, it's all about tourists going up and down. But that's also where some people have lived. And it gets to a time when people feel a bit uncomfortable when you have different faces coming in all the time. You know, just assume that you live in your house or your flat, your 2-bedroom house or 3-bedroom flat or whatever. And then you have a neighbor next door who has decided that the property they've bought, maybe they can't get people to rent it, or they don't think they make a bit of money out of renting because of all the problems that they have to deal with when the tenants move out. Maybe they smash the place and you got to spend a whole lot of money to do it up again. So now they prefer short-term lets, people who come in on a Friday, stay there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then they move out. That brings in a lot more money.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But if you happen to live in the locality, for some people, the discomfort of seeing different faces coming in brings a certain level of, sense of insecurity within their neighborhood. You don't know who these people are. They are not your neighbors. They don't have children who play with your children. They don't go to the same place for shopping, for schooling, for GP's appointments. And it's okay if you don't live in that neighborhood. But if you live in that neighborhood, it becomes a problem. And remember, not all these people who come in for short-term lets behave the way they should.
Of course.
If you get a bunch of, rowdy families or groups coming in, you are likely to be disturbed all day long, all night long, with loud music, with people coming in late in the middle of the night, drunk and wanting to disturb the neighborhood, knowing very well that whatever happens in the next few hours, they'll be checking out. And you have to put up with these week in, maybe month in, month out. So I'm not defending the Conservatives, but when people want to make these sort of decisions in terms of their investment, at least I think people in the neighborhood should be given the opportunity to express any issues they may have, or if they have any objections at all.
But a quick one on that. Now, if the area is a tourist attraction, and that is what brings, the income to that particular, I mean, that part of the world or that particular part of the of town, and they are not being more accommodating, then it's going to affect their income. So those people who even think that that's where they live, they won't have anywhere to go to.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go on. I finished.
Yeah, even tourist locations are homes for people. I visit Edinburgh a lot. Right. What people forget is that even a major tourist hub like Edinburgh is still somebody's hometown.
Of course.
Yeah, and sometimes it's very difficult for local authorities to hold a strong position against it, because apparently, or maybe not apparently, but obviously, people are coming in with income. They are attending restaurants, or they're visiting restaurants. They're going to the bars. They're going to the pubs. They're going to tourist venues. They're paying money. They're spending money in some of the tourist shops and things like that. But nonetheless, it is still somebody's place. It's somebody's home. And it's okay if you don't live there. But if you do live there, you begin to realize that this can become a problem. Now, I'm not saying that's the way all tourists are. There are some people there are some tourists who, go into hotels, and even when they are checking out, they make sure that they even clean the hotel room, even though they know that there are cleaners who have been paid within the housekeeping team to get it all sorted. But that is not the case. There are some people who check into a hotel, and after 6 hours, if you go and look at the hotel room, you ask yourself, what has happened? You've literally smashed everything. The carpet is stained, the bed sheets are stained, everything, and that attitude continues everywhere. I'm not here to defend the conservatives, but just put yourself in a situation, a place where you call home.
Yeah.
Right? Most people, you know what the lifestyle in this country is like. By the time you get home, you are too tired. You can barely do anything. You just want to have some rest. How would you feel when you come back home and every weekend, or maybe every other weekend, there are people coming to play loud music because they are on a weekend getaway? And they want to have a good time. Because it's hard enough living with a noisy neighbor, like Alex Ferguson said some time ago.
You say, but fellas, that is gone beyond. I mean, noisy neighbors and those antisocial behaviors. Wait for example, I operate one Airbnb, and let me give you a breakdown. For instance, Archie, my barrel, for instance, you pay council tax about $200 a month. Let's call it a 3-bedroom. You pay council tax by £200 a month. They have what they call licensing. The HMO licensing, if I have 2 people or 3 people who are going to leave that house, I'm going to be paying about 400 or something each of them. So that goes about 1,200 for the year. They've now reintroduced something they call, the law allows for local authorities to come with their local regulations to license even further. And therefore, if you have one person in that house, they can come on you to do license, what they call selective licensing.
Oh gosh!
So that selective licensing is what they call £600 a year. Give and take. You have a 3-bedroom. You're looking at council tax, and that licensing alone is £250 a month. Electricity, gas. Economically, it is not viable to take certain risks. In my case, for instance, it's not a tourist destination. London is not we call it a tourist destination. But I decided to know, okay, you know what? Looking at the amount of gas, amount of electricity, let me cut down my expenditure on some of those things. How do I meet my obligations over here? Is to increase whatever I can receive. If I rent one of those rooms out for a 500 Ghana, a 500 pound, can I make a 500 pound by renting out for 10 days or 15 days through an Airbnb? And the answer is yes. So I cut down on expenditure on the utility and other things. See, government should also look at how the local authorities have decided to use houses and cars to drain money from people. Archie, it is now becoming very, very as any landlord now, it is becoming very, very difficult
to
rent a house out. Look, your doors, yes, safety and all kind. They are even now asking you to provide floor plan. Am I the architecture? Floor plan, certain unnecessary stuff about this thing. I know her for safety. Okay, fire alarms, fire doors, certain basic things. Again, we do have people who will not put houses in order. So some of those regulations are actually aimed at helping bring housing into certain. But actually, it got to a point where the councils are. Look at credit council. Look at the council tax today.
It's gone up by 15%.
Can you just imagine? It used to be the highest across the whole. All boroughs in London. Now it's getting to 300 a month.
Yeah.
If you live in the borough of London, your mortgage, if you have a mortgage of 190 or something, now the mortgage, how much you paying, is almost a 900 a month.
Yeah.
It's almost a 900 a month, right? Now you on top of it, you're going to pay about 300. What do you call it? 300
council tax.
Council tax. You're going to pay about 250. Licensing fee. That's 1,500. How much do you earn? Assuming the person is even subsidizing you for 500 Ghana, again, you are bringing regulations to say that you can't charge. Even are you getting me? It's very, very difficult. If I have my own way, I always tell every tenant, but it's good. I pray.
Go and buy your own and see how it feels like. Okay, Felix.
Oh, we lost Felix.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Look, at the end of the day, I can understand. Local authorities are always looking out for ways to get more money out of the people who live and work within the areas that they have control over. So I can understand they are using this as another, money earning stream or another income, revenue line, that sort of thing. But look, at the end of the day, if the local people, I believe, because we have that sort of system here, in Scotland, which is started implementing, and I kind of have a bit of information on that. I can elaborate on that. I believe this will not be the first time you talk about it, but I can elaborate on that further because we are, I think, maybe no less than 2 years ahead of you in relation to this sort of thing. But look, if local people don't have any objections to it, because I can understand the way sometimes landlords have had their fingers burned, because this buy-to-let thing that a lot of people started going into in the late 90s, right up to now. Some people have had their fingers badly burned because they've realized that being a landlord is not an easy thing. There's a lot of paperwork you have to comply with. There's a lot of issues in relation to building standards that keep changing all the time, whether in terms of the integrity of the structure of the building, new details and new technology in terms of fire safety and all the rest of it. And these things cost money. You just want a form to be completed by an electrician for you. You got to cough out a few £100 for that electrician to do, even though you can easily identify these things yourself, but because you don't have the certification, you can't do it. You want somebody to have a look at your gas for you, and you need a certification for that. You got to cough out a few £100. These things cost money. And unfortunately, sometimes some tenants have ended up being very problematic tenants. They will, like I stated to you, they will smash up the place, and the amount of money it will cost you to bring it up to a certain standard, even if you decide not to be involved in letting it anymore, just to put the property on the market. You just ask yourself, is it all worth it buying to let a property out? So most people have found it an attractive means, or at least a means by which they keep up with their mortgage repayment by doing this sort of short-term let, until such time they decide that they don't want anything to do with the property anymore, in which case they then put it back onto the market. So I can understand where people are coming from. But insofar as local people are okay with it, maybe you have a property on maybe number 1 Ablekuma Street, and people don't have any objections in regards to you doing it as a short-term let. I don't have an issue with that.
Okay.
But yes, I don't have an issue with that. But when you take into consideration that some people also, some of these places, they are residential homes, they don't have anywhere else. Sometimes people forget that West End of London is some
people's hometown.
Yeah,
their hometown.
They don't have anywhere else to. You know, it may be. Some people may think that properties there are expensive. Yeah, they may be expensive, but if they sell those properties, they're going to sleep on the street.
Yeah.
You know, that's something that people forget. That I may be living in a one-bedroom flat that is valued at £750,000, but that's the only place I have to live.
Yeah.
Anywhere else, I have to find some money from somewhere, so I can go and live there. So it's not a simple solution, particularly when you have a government that has decided that they may not say it in the open, but they decided that it's not the business of government to provide large-scale social housing anymore.
Yeah.
And insofar as people are living beyond, their means, it's going to be very difficult for people to acquire property on the open market.
Yeah.
The way maybe the Conservative Party thought the situation would be when they decided to, offload vast amounts of social housing to the private sector.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't have the purchasing power, then you have to suffer the inconvenience of couch surfing or, having some kind of unstable situation in regards to your own accommodation for a long period of time. Unfortunately, that's the situation for most people in this country, particularly as you move further down south, where the property prices are, way beyond the reach of even decently paid average individuals, if I may put it that way. Have a good day.
Have a good day, Felix.
Thank you, Felix. Yeah.
Well, listeners, it's quite an interesting debate about what will you want to do, rent or do Airbnb or short-term letting. Well, which one do you want?
Archie, everyone wants stability. It's good, because like Felix said, some of these people who come to your homes, you don't know them.
Yeah.
Like I told you, I've had a situation, the police have called me into situations before. You've entered some rooms and you wish you never had them.
Yeah.
I've had a situation I have to change the whole mattress. Chuck them. Because the people who appeared when they came, what they did. So it becomes very, very tough. You would love to have someone who you can have. But see, the economic situation sometimes makes it very, very difficult. If you have a good paying tenant, why not? But everybody wants to maximize because of the pressures that are on them. So sometimes it comes to a personal decision. Archie, finally, we are going to icy moon or whatever. Are they trying
Jupiter?
Are we creating a room for Batman? Bye bye.
Well, listeners, that's where we end the program. Well, we'll tell you about whether the Jupiter, whether they are getting there. When they get there, we'll tell you what they are doing there as well.
The home for Batman.
All right, then. So we want to say thank you very much for tuning in today. Have a lovely afternoon, and we'll see you all tomorrow, God willing. When I'm going to bring you music, and this is from a cover version of Papa Yangson's song. So stay with me. This is by Ajavia, and when it ends, you don't hear from us. Being me, Archie, and Mr. Frank Davis saying, "Have a top of the day," and to every one of you who joined in, we say God bless and see you all tomorrow. Bye bye for now.
This is Starr Radio UK.
In your car,
At work,
at home,
on your smartphone. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
You're listening to the sounds of Trinidad and Tobago with DJ Nasty Nige.
Still with us and making people ill every day, but it's not too late.
You are so let wherever you let wherever you are. Tell them I'm feeling good, like a new machine, like morning dew, fresh on the scene. I'm in the party to the full extreme. I like it all. We can salino all of the city. Good mundo. We jamming still. We jamming still. The building. Good mundo. We jamming still. We jamming. Just hold them and walk them. 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 Just hold them and walk them. 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 No, we no business. Oh, no, we no business. We get out like we no business. We get out like we no business. Free out like we no business. Free out like we no business. Oh, no, we no business. Oh, no, we no business. Recession. No matter we promote a fet, and you go see how we go party to the full extreme. I like it all. With kerosene, oh God, the treasury. Good hunger. We jamming still. We jamming still. Economy. Good fall down. We jamming still. We jamming. Just hold them and walk them. 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 Just hold them and walk them.
Give me the workout, baby. Show them that you're not lazy. Oh, lately, that body driving me crazy. Chimbali. Not give it to nobody. Oh, chimbali. Original, them can photocopy. Oh,
We never over. You send me lover. I want your love. You giving me pressure. Love never sober. We dance till it's sober. Right now, rum.
and you know we end up going low, low.
We never over. You send me lover. I want your love. You giving me pressure. Love never sober. We dance till it's sober.
wild out, wild out, wild out, wild out. Jump up and say wild out, wild out. Turn up the gong and wild out, wild out. Jump up and wild out, wild out. Jump up and wild out, wild out, wild out, wild out, wild out. Never jump like we. You coulda never walk like we. We don't have no limit. We in it to win it all. God bless we. You don't like our culture, it's a vulture. Just step back from me. We come from a long way, wasn't easy. Now we here to stay. I know it's time some people out there they don't like we. And every move we make, they always try to fight we. This is the band, this is the band, this is the band that the people feel. This is the band, this is the band, this is the band when the niggas swear. This is the band, give back a long band. This is the band when they reach the stage. Everybody start to jump and wild out, wild out, wild out. Wind out, wind out, wind out, wind out, wind out, wind out. Wind out, wind out. Orlando, I know the thing more. Some girl never act so. Coming out in short thing, cleavage bam bam showing. Long wing she exposing. Nothing she concealing. Everything me feeling. Let us see that she's out there. Plenty girl of mine, acting like a singer. Plenty girl of mine, acting like a singer. Hanging like a singer, jamming like a singer, acting like a singer. Jamming like she's single, walking like she's single, pumping like she's single. Speed you want, bend your back and give them, give them, give them, give them, give them, give them, give them a big girl, give them, give them, give them, give them a boy, give them a big girl, give them, give them, give them a boy, give them, give them, give them, give them, give them, give them, give them a big girl, give them, give them, give them, give them, give them a boy, give them a big girl, give them, give them a tick, give them a talk now. Put it together, you go get TikTok. Give them a tick, give them a talk, and put it together, you go get TikTok. Come and say TikTok, TikTok, TikTok like you never me. Let me say one, touch your private spot. I'm a big girl, that's a wine and stick. Wine and stick, I'm a wine and stick. Up with your wine and stick, then you time, baby girl, look at your wine and stick. Up with your wine and stick, wine and stick. Yes, yes, girl, you can wine and stick. I'm a wine and stick. Up with your wine and stick, then you time, baby girl, look at your wine and stick. Up with your wine and stick. Every girl just free up yourself and wine. Just free up yourself and jump. Just jump, 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 free up yourself and jump. Just jump, 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 Just look at you, now look at me. Can you tell how I'm feeling? You don't know what you're dealing with. You could see I have so much energy, but it's not just me alone. Cause I always deal with certain company. I have the baddest company. You want to be in we company. You see I always deal with certain company. It's the baddest company. It's the baddest company. They make the biggest mistake. They let me up in this place. Trouble up in your cause they make the biggest mistake. They let me up in this place. Wine and come in. I got up a lucky from Africa. Yeah. She tell me she love Trinidad soca. Oh, I said baby girl tell me what is your name. Yeah. She said my waistline is going to explain. Oh, the first time I meet up with this Anna, she was standing in front of me, and her favorite song come on the speaker, and then she started to break away. She biting her lips like a piranha, dipping and walking up to me, and rolling her hips in a corner. That's how this girl back it on me. So I feel on her, touch on her, hold on her, want on her, kiss on her, bend on her. Hey, so I feel on her, want on her, touch on her, turn on her, kiss on her, love on her. Hey.
Take out your flag and wave. 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 Take out. Get something and raise it. 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 Raise it, 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 raise it. Free up yourself and mash up the place. Free up yourself and mash up the place. Jump and mash it too. Jump and mash it too. Jump and mash it too. Jump and mash it too.
If you look around you, everybody know what's going to happen, yeah. What's going to happen, yeah. From the front to back, you're going to see a set of things up in the air. Then they go disappear. It's about 1,000 people behind us, and they're not living till they fall. And the only thing that we serve is back and mix with alcohol. We don't care what you say, what you do, what you feel, and how you plan on something this. You better recognize it's sweet. Who does come up the place is sweet. Everything in the place is sweet.
Show me, you come for long story. Who do me and hold us all make me happy like glory. Man, I do what you want, drop the bumper to the ground. Then we stop and pick it up, bend over and make it work. Whoa! Every girl that bend, man, you stick down there. Bend, man, you stick down there. Bend, man, you stick down there. Every girl that bend. Bend over, you know what you're doing. Bend over, you're better than the whole of them. Bend over, you're the real, you not pretend.
Ask my girl is so fine. Can't don't stop the She fuck me go wine on your girl. She fuck me go wine on wine on.
You're listening to the sounds of Trinidad and Tobago with DJ Nasty Nige.
This is a madman. I don't mind. I don't mind. I don't mind. This is a drunkard. I don't mind. I don't mind. I don't mind. What's the name? Everybody take a wine on the spot. 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 Inside the gap. I don't mind. I don't mind. I don't mind. This is a drunkard. I don't mind. I don't mind. I don't mind. Hold on, get on joke. stop it. I'm winning on the girl and nobody gonna stop it. Nobody gonna stop it. Nobody gonna stop it. I'm gonna bust the bar and nobody gonna stop it. Nobody gonna stop it. Nobody gonna stop it. I'm gonna cross the stage and stop me. Nobody can stop me. Cause I go do it again. Do it again. I go stamp my name. Stamp my name. I go do it again. Do it again. Cause I have been little something like my savior, don't doubt it. But it's soca energy that is flowing through my veins. Cause soca is my father, so I don't have to name. And I'm tougher than the law, I will make it for sure. And I'm fighting since I small, I tell you it is sitting in low. I come from the jungle, they don't want to watch me so just because I humble. But the truth be told, Lord, they've done only fumble. And I dream of mother says, every lion's raw. Let's see the lion, Paul, lion.
This is the remix. Uncle Ellis, what you saying? They say you will never make it. You will never bust. No, you in this party, so they have to rush. They say you will never make it. You will never bust. No, you in this party, so they have to rush.
You see a man, you see a drum, you want me pain.
I don't know.
You see a man,
on the road, push them thing there on the road, on the road, push them thing there 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 on the road. Drop the thing and bounce it, drop the thing and bounce it right there, drop the thing and bounce it, drop the thing and bounce it right there, drop the thing and bounce it, drop the thing and bounce it right there, drop the thing and bounce it, drop the thing and bounce it. Drop the wine, everything get tempted. Duty free, everything exempt. Kind of wine every man can dream that make them walk off all the bills and rent. You thinking about engagement to keep you captive like it's enslavement. When the wine, there's no replacement. You make me stand up looking in amazement. Bust the wine, mash up the pavement. Fling your waist and make a statement. When it comes to whining in party, anything just must make arrangement. With the funeral home, make your payment. Party while like 20 cavemen. You're braver than 20 brave men. Fire waistline, we blaze them. On the road, push them thing there. On the road, on the road, on the road, push them thing there. On the road, push them thing there. On the road, push them thing there. On the
road. You're listening to the sounds of Trinidad and Tobago with DJ Nasty Nige.
Bring the rum and break the ice, cause we celebrating tonight, yeah. Bring bottles by the case, let we raise up in this place. Please excuse me for my ways. Hey, this thing is a problem, oh, setting all night, that's what I like. This thing is a problem, oh, don't care how I look, cause I got hope. Let's try this up.
Just how we like it, just how we like and it. Everybody you meet, partying in the street. It's carnival and it's sweet, I staying